streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polished choir. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. America, fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday. Thirsty Thursday if you're brave, or if you're an alcoholic. Oh, let's not talk about that. What is happening, friends? It is good to be here today. I'm excited to bring you the latest, the greatest on the American Fire Show here. I am Ace, and we're going to be talking about the optimistic, amazing things that President Trump and this administration are doing to bring us into a golden age. And guys, I'm telling you, it's happening. We're on the way. If you're dooming, if you're black pilling, come get your medicine here and wake up from the spell of gloominess, depression. We don't want that. We don't want that. We need to get through it and see what's actually happening. Things are improving. We are on the right track. The enemy is falling backwards. I'm going to show you guys today how, there's some capitulation happening from City of London, which is very interesting. So we're going to get into that. The commies are showing themselves and they are being beaten back. Trump has announced this is the final push. He's letting us know this is the war. We are going to end it. We are going to win it. And this shadow war we've been in for so long is going to end. We're in the final stage. This is the third act. The third act sometimes lasts a long time. It could last a couple years. It could be a few months. But guys, we're in it now. We're in it now. This is the end of the fight. It's no coincidence. The commies are rising up on the left just as Iran is ramping up, as the European Union is weakening. The UK, City of London, is weakening. None of that is coincidence. The pressure is coming from the people. The media is spinning more than ever. The FAGA podcastistans are trying to get you off the scent more than ever. We're going to talk about that as well, because guess what, guys? Their time is coming to an end as well. It's all closing in on the enemies of America. We are going to win. So jump on the winning train. You know, you all have something very special. You know, back in the Revolutionary days, when about 30% of Americans supported the war against the British, another 30% were still on the British side, and the other 45% just couldn't be bothered. They didn't participate. They just sat out and waited to see where the dust would clear and then declare their allegiance there. 30% of patriots defeated the greatest, largest empire in world history and set us free and set us on the greatest path ever. And you know what they didn't have back then? They didn't have this. They didn't have a way to massively get out the word, to massively talk to each other. They had to meet in pubs and alleys and dark places to talk about their strategies, to fire up the inspirations of freedom, why we fight and how to strategize for it. Guys, we don't have to do that in closed places. We don't. We get to be right here talking to thousands of people. Everybody, every one of us has a platform these days if we take it. There's no excuse for not knowing what's going on, but you got to look for it. That's the only thing. You got to look for it. We're going to win. We are winning. There is no excuse for losing. We will see this through, and we have one of the greatest leaders in world history. We are following behind. And yeah, that's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole. So I fully expect, because of today's show, where I'm going, I fully expect trolls. I fully expect haters, black pillars. That's all right. Bring them on. Bring them on. Because just like Trump mowing down the enemy, we'll mow down the trolls. We're not going to deal with it. We're going to keep going forward, because this is a place, guys, where we will win. This is a place for winners. This is a place for those not willing to give up, who are willing to fight for their country and do what they can to move forward. All right, let me get into the Chizat Say Hey to some people before we get started. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. So much to get to. I'm excited about today's show. I don't know if you can tell. I am pumped, because I really do believe things are shifting in the right direction. Trump's speech last night, the direction, what's going on, Iran, what's going on, what I'm seeing coming out of Europe, man, it's getting me amped. It is getting me amped. So I'm really fun. Oh yeah, and the Grifter Report's back today, which I know you guys are excited about. So let's say hey to some people. First off, we'll start with the Rums. Smaller, but not less valuable. We got AZ Tropic holding it down over there with Sheath 777. Welcome, guys. Thanks for watching the show. Here on the tubes, we got Henry Perez, Golden Code, Rum Dog, MFN, Ramona, Threads, Jim Atkin, Dan the Man Green, Smokehouse, Motley Crue, Dong Schlanger, Sonny Danielson, Lisa Doxy, Rafe, K. Shui, Doc No, J Dub Trading, Jalmar, Jesus Save, Scott Volkovich, Funny Guy, Chicky Rogue, Threads, Dave TBH, Frankie Fran, Dog, Daniel Palmquist, Donna M, Gen X MAGA, the one, what it do, sir? You've been doing that to me for 3.5 years, brother, and it never gets old. What it do? One of my oldest viewers. I love it. Bullhorn, Tracy Angel, Justin Mimo, Build Fire for Christ, Mark Maddox, Janice Bain, and Moody Waters is here. Good Spirits, Just Jess, and many, many more. Love you guys. Can't get to all you, unfortunately. The chat continues and moves on. Some people are saying they have sound issues. Would you guys let me know if that's true for most people or just a few? If it's just a few, I recommend refreshing. My connection, I can see it right here, is actually the strongest it's been now in 3 days. So I think we're headed in the right direction. The software, whatever they've been doing with the streams, it is starting to correct itself. Thank you guys, Mario, Song Sparrow. Thank you guys for the Eagles. I appreciate it. It's just Ron. Thank you for the Eagle as well. Everybody else saying the sound is good. So if you're having sound issues, please refresh. Oftentimes that fixes it. Thank you guys for that. If you guys don't mind, let me know where you're checking in from today. Shout it out, the states, the countries. I'd love to know who's all watching. Sound great. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Moody, where are you at today? I know you've been traveling. Are you back home? Every day's Thursday when you have a dog. That is true. That is true. J-Dub says, good morning. Let's hear the good news. Pieces are falling in place for big things to happen. Amen, friend. Amen to that. We got Canada from Ramona. Video's looking good today, too. Well, that's good. That's good. Indiana, Illinois, Arizona, Bay Area. Love it. All I'm hearing is the sound of winning. Well, that's good for you, Mario, because we all know as a Cowboys fan, you don't get to hear that sound very often during football season. So I'm glad I could bring it to you. I had to do it. That's because we go back. You know, I can tease you because we're friends. Bangkok. Look at that. I love it. That's beautiful. Western Kentucky, upstate South Carolina, New York City. God bless you in your commie world. We're praying for you up there. San Diego, Michigan, Georgia, communist Canada, Utah, Jacksonville, Florida, Michigan, Charlotte, North Carolina. You're close to me. You're very close to me, actually. Forgot your ear piercing. You're making the whole office live and run. Make them listen. We're going to white pill that whole office. Red pill, white pill. We're going to do all that. Maryland, slipping in the economy. That's rough. Philly, Michigan, terrible. Ontario, terrible Canada. I like that. Free Florida, Massachusetts, Cali, Virginia, West Virginia, Omaha. I love it. This is great. People's Republic of Maryland. God bless you down there. Rock Hill, South Carolina. Been there a few times. Montana, Pensacola, Dallas, Texas, Arkansas, Bristol, allergy hell, Commie State, Washington, California, Wake Forest, South Florida, Biltmore. You are 2 hours away from me, Threads. 2 hours away from me. I was at Biltmore. Well, actually, my wife was at Biltmore a month ago, and I was there this spring. Tampa, New Mexico, Moonbase. I like the Moonbase. Toronto, unfortunately. Southeast Texas, Massachusetts, Gastonia. Lots of North Carolina. I am in North Carolina myself as well, outside of Charlotte. Love seeing you guys. Thank you for this. Oh, Louisiana, Miami. Dude, we are representing the states today. This is awesome. Tejas, South Africa. Amazing. Springfield, Hollywood, surviving over there. Mooresville. The strip club off 8 Mile. Are you about to enter a rap battle there, One Repub? With, Minnesota, land of 1,000 frauds, Chicago. This is great, guys. Thank you for letting me know. I actually, listen, if you're new to this show and you're like, where the hell's the news? Listen, guys, you're going to have to be patient on the live show because this community is what matters. Building the community matters. That's what changes the world. That's what changes a nation. We will get to the news stories. We will get to what's happening and how we are winning, how we are defeating the great enemies of freedom in the world, independence and prosperity. We'll get to that. It's coming. But the community is numero uno here on American Fire. That is why I spend time to go into it, to talk to people, to answer questions. And yeah, I get, I'm tough on you guys. I'm not gonna, say I'm not. I get it all the time. You're so hard on people. Why are you so mean? You can't take it. You're thin-skinned. Am I? Or do I know exactly what I'm doing? Because the vast majority of the nonsense questions and challenges I get in here are trolls. It's trolls. It's psyop people trying to throw you off the scent, or it's people completely black-pilled who have fallen into depression, fallen into lies, accepted them, given up hope. And you know what? You got to be tough on them. You got to be tough on them. It was being tough that got me out of, being a sissy boy, like a boy in a man's body. That almost ruined my life. I had to grow up. And you know what? It took being tough to grow up. It took like learning, changing your mindset, allowing challenges, embracing challenges, going for it, calling out nonsense for what it is. Stop being tolerant of stupidity. Stop being tolerant of lies. That sets you free. It sets your mind free. It makes you tougher. And I will always take on those disagreements, whatever. And if they're in honor and respect and honest, then, you'll get in return the same answer. But if you attack, or if you're trying to sway your own narrative, or if you're trying to convince me I'm wrong without any data behind you, we're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. All right. So what we're going to do is talk and have conversations. The people here know how it works. I got the moderators watching for the trolls. They will kick you out, but everybody else is welcome. Please be a part of this community. Join in the chat. It's amazing. Great conversations. We go deep here. We break narratives, as the main focus of my show is to tell you, obviously I can be wrong, but I bring the receipts and I will take you through why I see things the way I do. And I will break most of the narratives out there that are abject lies, because the mainstream media and a lot of the podcasters are lying to your face, because we are constantly under psyops. This is how they get soft power. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to break it. We're going to break it. We are entering into a better age. Dare I say a golden age? It is coming. And the way we're going to get there is by telling truth, being tough, and moving forward. It's all wrote down for me. I love it. I told you guys the chorals were coming today. This is beautiful. I can't even speak my own words. It's all wrote down for you. This is where I get to say one of my favorite words. That's retarded. Because anybody who does a live show 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, like I do, anybody who's watched this show knows it is impossible for me to be reading from a script. But hey, that's hilarious. And thank you so much for that. And guess what? Now you get to be banned. Good job, Moody. Woo! Everybody cheer for the band. Give your claps up. That's hilarious. I told you they were coming out today. I told you they were coming out today. You know why they're coming out today, guys? Because they know it. They know the end is near. They know they're losing. They are terrified. They had people who were in. They had people that were convincing us, steering us down the wrong way with a little bit of influence here in the podcast sphere, in the mainstream media, even leaders politically, and it's all being exposed. It's being exposed. The narratives are being broken, and they are scared to death of it, but they don't know what else to do. They don't know what else to do except double down, except attack more. But the hilarious part of that is that only exposes them more. That's what's so hilarious, because the more they attack, the more they go back to the ways that got them in this mess in the first place, the more we see it for what it is. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so doubling down on stupidity, doubling down on asinine arguments or character assassination, we all see through it now. It doesn't work anymore. But they don't know what else to do, because there's no truth on their side. And when there's no truth on your side, you can't pull from anything else. You can only pull from lies. And so you go after whatever you can. They're grasping at straws. And I love it. I love it. I love seeing the trolls, because it makes me know we're on the right track. And that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Shogun, the only script I read is Seahawks win the Super Bowl. How dare you? How dare you? I purposely block that memory from my life until you bring it up. And you're lucky you're my DEI hire, Shogun, and I'm not allowed to fire you from being a mod. Okay? You're lucky, because if you weren't my DEI hire and I didn't have to go through all jumping through the hoops of their rules, you'd be gone for that. But because you're DEI, I have to keep you. I have to keep you to balance the quotas. You keep up my Asian quota. Therefore, I have to allow you to say your Seahawks nonsense. Not fun. Not fun for me. But it is what I do. So I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it, Shogun. You know how it goes. All right. I know. You guys are like, what the hell, man? Can we just talk? Can we just get into it? So we will. We will. How about that? How about that? You want to step outside? How about that? Um, Rainbug says, sometimes I think it's a last-ditch effort to at least hold on to the haters because they believe everything they say. Yeah, there's that too. So listen, guys, I'm about to get into the first segment. We have a lot to get into here. Man, we got a lot to go to in this show. But everything is going to teach you, or everything's going to show you that, man, it's ramping up. It is really ramping up. And there's a reason why they're going all out at this point with narratives, with the psyops, because they don't have any other power. The soft power is all they got left, and they're scrambling to use it. But for those who don't know, hit that like, hit that subscribe, get into the chat. You guys are free to reach out to me, question me, comments, whatever. If you want me to read it, please tag me so I find it in the chat. And then if you want to support the channel, it's a viewer supported channel. If you want to support the channel, you can always send a super chat. Those are guaranteed to be read and answered. Okay. That's my promise to you. But it also supports the channel. The other way to support the channel, if you like what I do, is get into that description and click that Patreon link. I'm asking you to click the link, not because you have to pay me by doing so, but it does give you a free month. And so that is my risk-free guarantee to you that you try out the membership, see if it's worth the value to you of supporting the channel. If it is, stay. If it's not, hey, no hard feelings. But you get a month to try it out. The Discord, the members' lives, and that supports the channel. That's what keeps me here every day, 2.5, 3 hours, plus members' lives, plus special shows like when Trump does an event. By the election, I'll be working triple time, guys. But just letting you know, that's what keeps me able to do this for you guys. So the show will always be free. But if you want to support it, if you want to make sure it can stay that way, every little bit helps. And I appreciate you. You can notice I'm not Candace Owens. I'm not going to lie for money. I'm not Tucker Carlson. I'm not going to take Qatari money. Okay. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm not selling supplements. All right. I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm just going to remain a free show, doing my best, doing my hard work to be here for you guys and do this. But it does depend on those of you who do help out. So thank you guys. Try it out and we'll see where it goes. Your boy says they cooked. The podcasters saying they not win the Senate this midterms is no big deal. It's a big deal. It proves 24 wasn't a fluke. Amen to that. That's a good point. That's a very good point. That's why the Democrats will be freaking out and it'll be beyond the 24 freak out if we win the midterms, even though it's not the presidency. We're going to talk about Lindell, good spirits. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So Sonny says, got until the first week or 2nd of August before needing to declare declaration of national emergency for elections. No, that's not true. I know why you're saying that, Sonny, but that's simply not true. He could declare a national emergency a day before. See, the national emergency is not prohibited by time. There's other reasons why you want to hit that deadline. I agree with you, but it's not necessary. But there's a lot of other stuff going on. So, here we go. You won't win. They're so scared, man. They have to jump into my chat. Yep, here we go. Bye, mediocre otter. You truly lived up to your name. Actually, you're not even mediocre. You're a pathetic otter. But God, I love when the trolls come out. This is a great day, folks. We've already banned twice and I haven't even started the show. This is amazing. We're headed in a really good direction today. This show is going to be loaded. You know what? I'm going to do something I never do. I usually pray at the end of the show. I'm going to do a quick little prayer at the beginning because there's fire on this show. I can feel it today. Can you guys feel it? So Heavenly Father, Jesus' name, we bless, Lord, everything coming out today. I pray I speak only truth. I pray that, Lord, I reveal what's happening, God, that your breath is on my words. And God, that we can see what you're doing in the land through President Trump and other patriots like that to get us to a golden age. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. There's fire on this show today. I know I need a banning song, don't I? I need a banning song. So this is gonna be good. All right. Woo! I feel the fire in my bones. Feel that fire. They just burst into flames. I love it. Absolutely love it. So good. All right. Freenez with the $5 super chat, getting in early, says, I'll support you as much as I can, wherever I can. That's too important and needed. We'll need short clips to send to an uninitiated. God bless. I mean, I do clip the show. You are allowed. I make my show available to be clipped by you guys. It's free to do so on YouTube. You can clip whatever you want from it. I do turn the live show into 4 or 5 shorter clips every day for that reason. So, do that. So I just gave the chat an exorcism. I love it. So good. But Freenets, thank you so much. You have been a great supporter of the show, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, guys, today I want to, first of all, last night Trump gave a speech. He has been highlighting the communist takeover of our nation lately, and that's all for good reason. It's all strategic because the commies are coming out in full force. And as we've been learning, the infiltration of our country by communists is actually much greater than we thought. Now, I'm not saying your average neighbor is a commie. I'm not saying it's more widespread than you thought in that way. I'm saying their direct influence and attacks on our nation from within are greater than most of us believed. In fact, the latest Cuba report released by the State Department, signed off by Marco Rubio, shows that Cuba itself, this nation we were supposed to believe for decades, is a nothing burger, is nothing to worry about. They're small and pathetic, and maybe we should even reopen up relationships with them as Obama was pushing. Turns out they were the hub of which City of London was pushing through their Fabian Society tactics into our universities, our institutions, etc., our media. Cuba was the hub. And we're learning that threat has been here. We kind of all knew it was all along, but we're realizing where it's being exposed that it was actually much more sinister and targeted than most of us would have believed at this point. Now, the good news is we got the right man in charge. And yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of Trump accepting the nomination at the RNC convention in 2016. And this is just good proof that Trump has never changed and he's always gotten the battle. Listen to the 30-second clip from Trump from 2016.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo as long as we are led by politicians who will not put America first. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve. The American people will come first once again. My plan, Americanism.
That gives me chills. That gives me chills. The American people come first again. But here's the first line. Trump outlined the entire war we're in right here.
Americanism, not globalism.
Americanism, not globalism. Guys, as we've been learning, what does Americanism mean? It means dynamic economy for the people, prosperity, production, industrialization. That's Americanism. Liberty, freedom. That's Americanism. Strong military patriotism. That's Americanism. That is what Trump noted all along. And all those things are what the globalists have been eroding and working to erase from us for decades, maybe even the past 100 years, depending on where you date the beginning of it. Some say 1901, some say 1913. Regardless, it has been decades and decades and practically a century or more of managed decline from the globalists trying to take us down, take us apart, because you cannot defeat us from the outside. You know why? We're the greatest nation that's ever been created. We were the first nation that recognized the Creator, God, and built it under a Christian example from its inception, from the foundation, First nation ever do that. And God has blessed us as a result, despite our mistakes, despite our faults, despite our betrayals. We built on the right foundation, and no one can take us on head on as a result until they weaken us significantly from within. This attack has been going on for decades. Trump is reversing it. And it drives me crazy when people don't think he's reversed it enough. You know what? First of all, I could agree with that, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. That's not the argument. The argument is, are we winning? Are we headed in the right direction? You can't undo over a century of managed decline in 2-3 years. You can't undo it with a snap of your fingers. It takes time. And what we've been watching is Donald Trump, since he came into the presidency on January 20th, 2017 for one term, and now in the second term, we are watching him lay the new foundation, one built upon the original foundation of our constitutional republic, building upon that for a future that's different than anything we've ever seen, but still built on our original principles. We are headed into the best time ever if we finish the job. I believe we will. I truly believe we will. I believe patriots and the people in charge right now are brilliant and going to make sure it happens. I truly do. And I see them unwinding all of it, but it takes time, because when you start something from the base, when you build a foundation first, when you tear something down all the way down to the stubs, it takes time before you really get the full results. That house, when you raise down that corrupt, rotting house, and all that's left is a foundation that needs to be strengthened, well, it takes a time before it's rebuilt again until you can live in it. That's what Trump's doing, and that's why it's taking a little while. But those of us paying attention understand that that's honestly a good thing, because this is being built to last. It's not Band-Aids on it. We're not just patching up drywall again. We're literally rebuilding the entire castle. And that is a wonderful thing. But our biggest enemy of the modern age has been communism. And the more we learn about communism, the more we realize this isn't just something that spread out of Russia. No, if you look at it, the true idea of communism goes all the way back. It's a demonic belief system. It's a demonic belief system that wants to rip out God, rip out the idea of authority by promising people you can live a consequence-free life. You can live consequence-free from being lazy, from not working hard, from not gaining skills and growing in your intelligence. You can live a life where everything is fair. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Because even though our value is equal under God, what we do with that value is up to us. That's why capitalism, although it's not perfect, is the only system that will ever work for an economy of bringing up as much people prosperously as possible. But communism in and of itself is godless. It's hateful. It condones jealousy, bitterness, victim mentality. And that all is from the devil. And that has been the rot that they've been using to destroy sovereign nations, their weapon of choice since the late 1800s. They got into Russia, and now they've been trying to get it to us. Here's JFK recognizing this threat in the 60s.
Communism is so often described as an ideology or a belief that exists somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States today?
Well, I think they're serious. I think it's a matter that we should continue to give great care and attention to. We should support the laws which the United States has passed in order to protect us from those who would destroy us from within. We should sustain the Department of Justice in its efforts and the FBI, and we should be continually alert. I think if the United States is maintaining a strong society here in the United States, I think that we can meet any internal threat. The major threat is external and will continue.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion.
Isn't that exactly what we're dealing with? If you talk about the City of London structure and the left currently in America, that is exactly what we're dealing with. Everything JFK just said. It was interesting. He said it has a discipline, a militaristic discipline that no democratic society can match. And that's absolutely true. The people are always going to vote what's in their interest in the moment. Very few vote for the future. Whereas this system, this evil, the adherents to it, they're always thinking about the future. That's why they were able to subvert us for so long and get as far as they did, because we were allowing them to. They held straight to their mission. They were willing to hide as long as they could and slowly chip away. Whereas in the democracy, you vote for what you need in the moment, the vast majority of the time. This is their great advantage against us. But their disadvantage is this: the vast majority of people won't have it. Not when they finally recognize it. The vast majority of people will rebel against it. They don't want this. In every man's heart is a drive for independence. There is. It's built inside of us. You can't ignore it. You can fight it. You can pretend it's not there, and you can get yourself into a place where you accept it won't happen, and maybe there's some greater good. You can lie to yourself, is what I'm saying. But it's innately within us. And eventually enough people will listen to that when faced with losing it. And that's our great hope. And that's why we have to call it out. But it does get in sometimes. Here's the current mayor of New York City, an avowed communist, open communist. Now, this is how they subvert us. There's many people who would agree with this in this current environment because more Israel, more the Jews. And so he is now calling forth to go after Netanyahu if he came here to New York. But it's not so much the words he's saying, which even some people in this chat would agree with, which I don't, but we could talk about that another time. But the point is listen to how he says it and how he directs this, which is against U.S. law, by the way.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest.
There it is.
As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available.
Did you hear what he said? ICC, ICC. I hate to tell you guys, this is actually not a video about getting Netanyahu. That is the that's the sugar sprinkled on the medicine to help the medicine go down. This is how he's trying to appeal to those on the right and the left who are angry at Netanyahu, who have either bought into psyops or have legitimate beef with him. That was the sugar sprinkled on top. What he really was doing is promoting international law over U.S. law. Do you notice what he said here? Where he says, I support this for anyone else charged by the ICC. What he just said and what he's trying to slip in is that we're an international community. We're globalist. And that supersedes our American sovereignty. Notice he's doing this on the tail of last week when Marco Rubio came out and said no American will ever be under the ICC. There's a reason this video came out, and I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with Netanyahu. Has nothing to do with it. This is who they are. This is what they do. This is how sneaky these bastards are. These evil, evil people. Now, Laura Loomer is reporting this, but it's not because of Laura Loomer as a source, which I know many of you don't like, and I agree that she sometimes gets it wrong. But this has been confirmed by several people. Senior FBI leadership has reason to believe Mamdani may be having direct communication with Islamic terrorist organizations. Yeah, like his director last week getting busted for having a meeting with the Iranian ambassador instead of that ambassador going to our administration who's supposed to deal with foreign allies and enemies. Yeah, this was his administration. They got busted. Oh, it was a mistake. Nope. He's certainly a national security risk, which is why we declined giving him an FBI-approved security clearance. He won't be getting one. That's who it is, guys. These people are evil. They're selling us out. And Mamdani, I truly believe, is an evil man. I don't believe this is a good guy making mistakes. I believe this is a man who has chosen evil and is running with it, as so many of them do, especially at the higher end. I'm not talking about the little 21-year-old who got duped into thinking communism's great because their parents sent them off to college and allowed them to have a liberal arts degree. No, I'm not talking about that moron who hopefully someday will grow out of it once he gets his first tax bill. But I'm talking about these people who are running and in charge and have sold their souls. And we have people like this within our government all over. James O'Keefe, latest drop. Senior Pentagon director caught on hidden camera spills on a gay date with O'Keefe that he will undo whatever's been done at the Pentagon after Trump leaves office to reverse his agenda. This is how we've been being subverted. I've seen some things. In true DC nature, you don't always reveal everything in DC. I have influence. I can undo what's been done. I think Trump's a narcissist. I think it's the war I ran. It's completely stupid. It's driven on one man's ego to me, in my personal opinion. I mean, you could be a news reporter. These people are so dumb, revealing all this to O'Keefe. But we're exposing them. And Acting Secretary of the Navy, Hung Kao, came out and said the Department of the Navy takes the conduct shown in this video extremely seriously. Such statements and apparent intent to leverage a position to undermine policies and directions set by our elected leaders are inappropriate and incompatible with the standards expected of department personnel. Effective immediately, this individual has been placed on administrative leave while we determine next steps. He's going to be gone. We're going to bust these people, each and every one of them. But guys, who do you think this is? This is a globalist. This is a leftist infiltrator who was put into our bureaucracy, given a job that was going to survive presidency after presidency, unelected, who is going to subvert over and over again. This is what we've been living with for decades. This is why the Trump administration is having so many issues getting stuff done. But the miracle is they're getting it done anyways. And we are purging them little by little. Here's Ron DeSantis telling how we're purging out Soros attorneys.
We've beat the left and we beat people like George Soros on crime. You have in this country these prosecutors that are funded by Soros and other organs of the left, and they get in and they have an agenda to simply not prosecute criminals. We see it in Philadelphia with this guy Krasner. Has been a total disaster and has harmed a lot of people because of the dereliction of duty. Well, we have had 2 Soros prosecutors in Florida, one in Tampa and one in Orlando, and I removed both of them from their posts. And I'm the only governor in the country to do that.
You know, I don't know what DeSantis' future is going to be, but he is a wonderful governor. He made a really, really stupid decision to challenge Trump in the 24 primary, because that might have ruined his options of being president in the future. I'm not sure MAGA's ever going to trust him enough again to put him in position because of that, because he joined with Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. And I don't think DeSantis, we have 8 years of him in charge of Florida, being very MAGA. So I think the record speaks for itself. He has been the greatest governor in the nation for those 8 years. The problem is it did show he either has a secret, which is that he's got establishment ties, or he is able to be got by his ambition. That can be dangerous. And so both of those might have ruined his future, where if he'd never run in 24, he would have been a shoo-in to be the 28 nominee. It is what it is. But credit where credit is due. He's doing a great job in Florida, and he is purging. He's purging the Florida deep state little by little. Now, one of the greatest ways to purge them is to defund them. And this is why there's been such a massive push to get rid of the fraud. This is why Trump appointed J.D. Vance in charge of the fraud task force, and why they are uncovering untold billions of dollars going to illegals, leftist groups, the DOJ prosecuting these people, catching them, arresting them, SPLC taking down NGOs. It's happening all over the place. This is the end. This is how you upend their network, because it all has to get funded. So here's where we're at with the fraud. Why? The books had to be open first to see the fraud industrial complex. We must stop looking at the scandals as separate events and watch the money descend. It's true. It's all coordinated. What appeared to be scattered waste was one circulatory system moving public money through contracts, grants, benefits, loans, and emergency programs from Washington to federal agencies to states, universities, nonprofits, prime contractors, then downward through intermediaries, approved providers, local operators, etc., etc. Doge came first because the books had to be open. Before the extraction could be understood, Elon and Big Balls brought the media along for the ride. Trump's February 26, 25 Doge cost efficiency order directed agencies to review covered contracts and grants for waste, fraud, and abuse. And there's been people saying this didn't happen, or it was stopped. No, it wasn't. Doge did what it was meant to do in the beginning, targeted it all, and then they disbanded, and those Doge people went into the agencies to purge them one at a time. This is why the continual fight on fraud has actually expanded since Doge went away as an entity, because those people now are operating from within the actual institutions. Then GAO supplied the pressure reading. Federal agencies reported approximately $162 billion in improper payments during fiscal 24, including about $135 billion in overpayments. That was Biden's last year. This was the year where they knew they were about to leave. And so what did they do? They pushed the gas. They said, get out as much money as possible. Push it, push it, push it. We have to get it out. And this is why so much money went out in 24 under Biden. Since 2003, reported improper payments have accumulated to roughly $2.8 trillion. GAO warned the true amount may be significantly higher because the estimates cover only a subset of vulnerable federal programs. They have been defrauding us like crazy to build up this infiltration of the commie globalists within our own nation, to give them power, to give them credibility and influence. This has been insane, and this is why the fraud is such a big deal. This is the first layer. The federal government built a system capable of authorizing enormous financial flows while losing continuous visibility at the handoffs. This is why it was so important for them to be in charge, because they could manage the money. How much of our federal debt should never have been debt? How much of it wasn't politicians just being stupid and not being able to do math? And how much was it actually them funding themselves? I would say at this point, I believe that the vast majority of it was that. Congress could see the appropriation, agency could see the prime award, state could see the program, intermediary could see the provider could generate documentation, yet no single layer consistently held the entire chain. Every transfer created distance. Every new entity divided responsibility. Every division of responsibility created another place for fabricated records, inflated claims, shell companies, administrative failure, and organized extraction to disappear inside ordinary process. Vulnerability was not sitting at a broken checkpoint. It was distributed across the movement itself. This is what Besant said. So we need to be able to catch it up front. You catch it up front because once it's out there, it's very difficult to catch. And this is all off the story from John Solomon from yesterday morning. Says Watchdog says as much as 74% of federal grant spending in 24 was untraceable to local levels. 74% hidden payouts to communists, leftists, infiltrating our government, overturning it. You notice none of this money ever goes to conservative groups. None of it. They never find any of it there. You notice since this is dried up, no riots, no mass protests, nothing like we saw in the past. It's all drying up. Country currently, funnily enough, country music is now the #1 music in America on the charts. Records are being broken. Rap, no rap songs have been charted in 2 years now, I believe, something like that, something crazy like that. And that was supposedly the most popular music in America. How much was federal grant funding like USAID responsible for creating a pseudo reality for us that wasn't real? Propping up people who weren't talented, who weren't popular, to make them seem, especially to the younger generations, like this is who's cool, this is who you should listen to. How much of this money was just being used to make us all feel like the country was different than it really was? You see, in truth, guys, we are more like a 65% red country. And by red, I don't mean traditional Republican. I mean conservative, patriotic, common sense people who don't want nonsense, don't want our kids messed with, who want a free market economy. Yes, we can have disagreements on how much the government should do, how much, all that, whether we like this certain bill, that's different. But my point is 65-70% of this country is red-blooded, loves our country, loves Americana, wants to move forward and build a better future for our kids. Most of us are not crazy. We're not dyeing our hair blue. We're not talking about how Gaia is our true God and we need to worship the climate change. We are God-fearing people. 66% of Americans declare to be Christian and growing. We're God-fearing people. That's who we are. But we were led to believe for decades that's not the case. How much of this funding was creating a pseudo-reality for us? How much of what we've been told about our country is real or not real? But that's the communist way. That's the Fabian way, the City of London way of subversion. Slowly undo what we all believe to be real so they can take over. Now we're working up. We're starting to take out and notice more and more about how bad our Senate is. I've been talking about this nonstop, that the real issue in the Trump years is not Trump himself. It's not his administration. It's not lack of trying. It's Congress. Because Congress still, the House of Lords, especially in the Senate, is the final boss in our government. It's the last place fully controlled. And by fully, I mean 75% controlled by the globalists. This is why everything Trump does, he can barely get it through legislatively. That's why he's forced to issue executive order after executive order to get anything done, because it stops here. And as Brian Cates says, you can't tell people our Congress is full of literal paid agents of foreign powers with higher loyalties than to their own nation citizens. You can't tell them. If you just tell them, many of them would not believe you. You must show them for 7 months before you act to remove them that paid foreign spy traders are subverting our national institutions, including our elections. Can't tell, must show. For you act to remove them from office. Otherwise, a civil war might break out, and there's not going to be a civil war. Patriots are in control. That's what I believe. And the SAVE Act is the ultimate way to prove this, because the Save America Act is supported by 80% plus of Americans. It is as about as popular a bill as you could ever produce. Who's against voter ID? Not even Democrats. But yet they continually hold it up. Why? Because of this right here. They aren't for America. They're for who they're getting paid for. And this is how you expose them. You give them something so easy, such an obvious win, that they won't pass it. And yet, every time Trump pushes it, why is he pushing it so hard, even though they continually tell him it's not going to happen? Pushes and pushes and pushes because the people are getting frustrated. Trump knows. Trump is he is the master influencer. That's how he got elected twice. That's how he's had so much success, despite all these people against him. Trump knows exactly how to reach the people, how to ping that thing inside the people that says, yeah, he's right. That's why he keeps hammering this, and it is exposing them. And if the people finally start turning against Congress, more so than Trump, that's going to change everything. We know MAGA already has, because we keep eliminating them in the primaries. But the regular American in the middle, the center leftist, they haven't woken up yet, but they're starting to, because it just makes no sense. This is why you do it. This is why you keep pushing it. And they hate him for it. Currently, the Secret Service is investigating more than 10,000 threat-related cases this year, a 40% surge in volume over the same period last year. Director Sean Kern says the political climate is more volatile than anything in his last 24-year career. Secret Service is stressed to the max right now because they want to take him down. If Trump wasn't a threat, why? Why would they be trying to take him out? If he was one of them, why would they be trying to take him out so hard? Why would the threat levels be more than they've ever been before? I think it's an easy answer. We know exactly why. Because he's ruining them. And he's ruining them through not only his personality and his power, but through his policies. Here's Scott Bessent giving us a great little picture of how Trump's economic policies are breaking the system.
His record speaks for itself. But let me remind you that President Trump has signed the largest tax cuts in American history and made them permanent. Rebalanced global trade in favor of our working families, reclaimed our position as the world's energy superpower, and saved this country by securing its borders. Any single one of these wins would be historic, but taken together, they are transformative. Our economy has now averaged over 100,000 good-paying private sector jobs. Let me repeat that. Private sector jobs, not government jobs, for the last 4 months. And real GDP has increased at a rate of 2.7% over the past 4 quarters. Private sector employment is up more than 900,000 since the president came into office. The Working Families Tax Cuts delivered the largest share of tax relief directly to millions of low and middle income Americans. And as Administrator Loeffler said, every Democrat in the Senate and House voted against it. Here in Georgia, the tax cuts saved the average family more than $3,100 on their taxes this year, and protected over 200,000 jobs. Meanwhile, thanks to President Trump's policies, companies and countries have poured trillions of dollars in new investment into our country since President Trump took office. More Americans are working than any time in our nation's history.
These are generational changes. You understand? Like what he is doing, okay, what Trump's policies are doing are laying an economic foundation that's going to be very hard to undo. As Bessent just said, especially with energy, we are now the energy superpower of the world. That is generationally changing, folks, especially as that grows out. We build more refineries. We build out because of that. Gas is going to plummet. It's coming. Once you get cheap energy and everybody's coming to you, you have the greatest leverage over everybody else in the world as well. The US dollar is going to be much stronger against other countries. It's coming, folks. It's all happening, but we're just at the beginning, as Scott Bessent says right here.
Policies like Trump accounts. But my own sense of his place in history is already clear. Donald J. Trump is the most consequential president of my lifetime. And I can tell you all share my excitement and welcome him here to Georgia today. So for everyone in this audience, especially the young people, know that President Trump is creating assets for the American people, not more debt and broken promises. He's creating assets.
Creating assets, not more debt. That is generational shift. And that's why you can end up with a golden age. Just today, the initial jobless claims fall to the lowest level since 1969. 57 years ago. Oh, the economy sucks. No, it doesn't. Your personal finances might still suck. There are people who are still struggling because of the price increases of the last few years. Absolutely. We haven't fully caught up yet. We haven't overturned that yet. That's all true. And I'm not negating it. There is more work to be done. But I can tell you right now that the foundation that is being laid will lead to that. It is turning the corner. This is shocking, folks. This is shocking stuff. This means less people claiming unemployment insurance. That is a very good thing. Heading in the right direction. This means that things will get better. This is the beginning, not the end. Remember that. We're in the beginning. Now, this all comes down to ending the communist hold in our country. And there's a reason why this administration is ramping up the attacks that are directed directly at communism, because it's time. They've determined it's time to end this once and for all. We haven't seen a push like this against communism in general since the 50s, since the McCarthy era. And back then it was one single senator leading all this. Now we have the President of the United States, his Secretary of State, and all that surround him calling them out for who they are and breaking it down. Why? Well, because this is the way they are trying to ruin us. Again, it's the globalists, but you can't just throw out the word globalist, and most Americans know what that means. You can't just throw out City of London or Davos. Most Americans will be, huh? That's for the politically educated. That's for the people who really pay attention. But you say the word communist, people perk up. No, not on my watch. We all grew up, the Soviet Union, the big bad of the world, China, the big bad of the world, both communist. We've heard the stories, 100 million killed in the 1900s. We know communism is evil. And that's why, this is why we use that word. And this is why we call it out in that way. Here's Rubio pushing it forward.
Well, again, what the president put out on Thursday, that was the declassification of documents from our intelligence community. That's what he put out. He declassified intelligence assessments from our intelligence community. But your question was about communist influence. Yeah, the United States doesn't want to be a communist country. We're never going to be a communist country, and we're not going to allow communist influences to undermine our politics or our society. So I don't know what the inconsistency you're referring to is. It's very clear. Obviously we understand the Chinese system and other systems, but I can tell you our system doesn't want communism, and we're certainly not going to allow communist efforts to undermine American society and drive wedges into our country, and that's what we're seeing. And by the way, one of the leading culprits of that for many years, the intellectual authors of particularly in our hemisphere, is the Cuban regime, which our report on Monday outlined. Well,
we're never going to be a communist country. Rubio means that. His parents from Cuba, they hate communism. He's always hated communism. It's why he was a neocon for a while. He believed that their way was the right way. Take the fight to them so they don't come here. He truly believed that. He bought into the neocons just because patriotically Rubio loves America and he hates communism. But Trump has shown him a better way. And that's why I believe Rubio is 100% MAGA on our side now. But it's because Trump showed him a better way. See, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Many people who were conservative, Republican, who bought into the neocon lies, who bought into the establishment lies, we just didn't know any better. I was one of those people. Trump opened my eyes, and that's why I can believe Trump opened Rubio's eyes. That's why I believe Trump opened J.D. Vance's eyes, and et cetera, et cetera. Many of these people who might have had shady past, Trump showed us a better way. And I believe they're all on that train now. But again, the enemy remains the same. Here's Trump just last night telling us where we're at in this war against the commies.
Communism is, in my opinion, communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history, including even World War I and World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat that I've ever seen to our country. These people are stone cold crazy. And it is the enemy of the free people everywhere and everywhere in the world. You see it happening, and every time it starts to happen, the areas where it's at, whether it's blue states, you see the blue states are all going bad. They're all going bad because communism is a loser. The concept, the policy, it's a loser, and it always has been, and it always will be.
He's telling it like it is. He's telling what communism is. People believe it.
And, you know, they want to give everyone everything away. You want free rent? You want free house? You want to, what they don't say is in a year from now, there'll be absolute squalor, turmoil, and death. And that's the way it's happened all the way. It goes back thousands of years by different names. But that's the way it happens all the time.
Did you hear what he said? This goes back thousands of years by different names. Trump knows. He understands this so much better than the vast majority of people. He knows exactly what we're up against.
It's squalor, it's poverty, it's death, it's destruction. And that's why we declare again today that the United States of America will never be a communist country.
A freaking man. Listen to what he said real quick as he described it at the end here one more time.
But that's the way it happens all the time. It's squalor, it's poverty, it's death, it's destruction. And that's why we declare
it's squalor, it's poverty, it's death and destruction. Everything the globalists planned for us. He just nailed it. And yeah, communism right now is the frame we're using because the frame the American people understand. But it's so much more than that. As Trump said, it goes by different names. It's gone back centuries. This is the globalist system, the Fabian system pushed by City of London, pushed by the globalists, Davos, whatever you want to call them. You have to agree with me that it's City of London as a system. That's fine. There's no disagreeing it's a globalist system. I just happen to believe it's the center is City of London. But regardless, it doesn't matter. What matters is calling it what it is, exposing it to the people, and relaying it, communicating in a way that people understand. This is why they're so scared right now, guys. This is why the attacks are ramping up, because they know Trump is on it and he understands it. We've not had a president who was willing to stand up to this for decades, who was willing to stand up for it and communicate to the people. And this should hearten you. This is right after Trump declared we'll never be a communist country again. Watch the people's response.
And that's why we declare again today that the United States of America will never be a communist country. You know, remember during the State of the Union, I said that this country will never be a socialist country, remember? And I was right. They skipped socialism. They went right to communism.
The people get it. The people get it. We're never going that way. There's a reason they applauded at that point instead of waiting for him to finish his speech, because that declaration will never be a communist country. That was MAGA standing up and saying, not on our watch. And again, folks, we're more than 30% of the nation. All it took was 30% to beat the British in 1776 through 1781. That's all it took. And now we have more than that ready to fight. And does this man look worried? Here is, Trump celebrating as always at the end.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man.
I don't think Trump's worried, folks. I don't think he's worried at all. I think we're exactly where we need to be in this fight, and Trump knows it. I think we have much more control over the situation than many believe, and it's heartening me completely. And then last night, the White House posted this, which, if you can't win the war and have fun while doing it, what are you doing? To me, my MAGA patriots, I think Trump knows he's a great team and he loves that team. They're fighting for us, folks. We're going to beat this communist system. We're going to beat this globalist system. The war is being won. It's being ramped up right now. We're heading into the final stages. And all we got to do, guys, keep getting the word out. Do not give up. Fight, fight, fight. And realize God has blessed us with the greatest team we could have ever hoped for in this battle. We're headed in the right direction. We're going to win this. So, to me, my MAGA patriots, let's see this through and defeat this globalist system once and for all and truly watch a golden age reach our country. All right, folks, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I know that segment was extremely long, but it was important. Got a lot more coming up, so don't leave yet. But I am going to take a minute, get into the chat, answer questions and comments that I may have missed. Again, if you guys want to get my attention, please tag me, or as always, you're guaranteed to be shouted out and answered with a super chat and support the channel. So let me go through the chat real quick before we get into the next segment. Next segment, we will be talking about the what's going on overseas, not just Iran, but the signs that City of London has fallen apart in Europe. There are signs right now, very clear signs, by the way, that what Trump's doing in Iran is breaking them. And so we're going to be going through that in the next segment. Castellan says, Carnage Carney is the new head of the globalists. Promethean went over it yesterday. He's using a Clinton staffer, 2 from London. Carnage himself, Canada's in a death spiral. I mean, that's interesting. I'll watch their video. Do they really say that he's the head? I would be surprised by that. Yeah, we'll talk about Lindell. Don't worry. We'll get there. Let's see here. Do a little try. I saw that somebody gave... Holy smokes. Bruce Rice with 20 gifted American Fire memberships. Thank you, Bruce. That is extremely, extremely generous of you. To those who just got the membership, welcome. You now have access to all members' lives here on YouTube. Just go to the community tab, search some members only posts, and you'll find the links to all the lives. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And Bruce, thank you so much for your extreme generosity. Violence says, just my opinion, but DeSantis permanently blackballed himself. I don't know if it's permanent. We'll have to find out in the primaries if he runs. The voters will tell him if it was permanent or not. I will tell you this. I don't think DeSantis could make it through the primaries after 24, but I do think if he did, he would win the election handily. He's still a great candidate. I just don't know if MAGA will trust him enough to get him through the primaries. New Life says, the biggest thing right there, value of a nation's currency is the most important metric in measuring the health of the economy. Well, I would disagree with that a little bit. I would say how the middle class is doing is the most important metric for the health of the economy. But the dollar does matter. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Thank you, Michael Agenti. I appreciate you. We need a fraud savings clock by the debt clock so everyone can know and see the savings. Yeah, right. I haven't covered Lindell yet. That'll be in a later segment because it is important. We're going to talk about that in the midterm segment, which is next after the next segment. Where was I at J6? No, I did not go. I actually wanted to go, and I ended up not making it. Surfer says, I would say even modern China is now fascist. That's why it has billionaires and mega corporations answering to authoritarian party. Well, there's fascist elements. Here's what, what's often left out of true fascism. Fascism it's like a marriage of nationalism and socialism. And China doesn't really have the nationalism part. They don't really have like the people, like the pluralist leader who brings the people together over China. It's still very much a communist system. They just opened up their economy a little bit to like some capitalist tendencies so that they could grow. China's very weird. It is not like, you can't just label it one thing anymore. But it's still, China doesn't really fit fascism. K2 for you today with a $5 super chat says DeSantis to replace John Roberts as Chief Justice. I think he could do more for the U.S. there for many years. He's fairly young. I do think that might be a great way to go. Yeah. Promethean video is interesting. City of London going to be City of Ottawa soon. That is fascinating. I would love to. I got to watch that video. It's been on my watch list. I didn't get around to it yet. I need to see what it says. So, but that is interesting. Yeah, listen, like I said, I'm going to talk about Lindell, but as Largenti just wrote, would you prefer Tim Walz clone or Mike Lindell? I mean, even if Lindell is setting some dumb stuff or some dumb policies, he's still light years better for Minnesota than Tim Walz. So, all right, guys. Well, let's get into it, because we have a lot more to get into. But again, guys, if you don't mind, before we get into the next segment, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell your friends, share it, get it out, get the word out there. Be like Rum Dog and play it in front of all of his workmates so they can be annoyed by the positivity, the conservative MAGA positivity, and also be red pilled and white pilled as I crush all the narratives and do my best to do so. But we got so much more to get into. So, the last segment was really focused on the domestic threat. But as we all know, the globalists are over there too. In fact, their headquarters are overseas. Where they've been pushing is overseas. Where they've instituted their own system is overseas, especially in the EU, where it's the most infiltrated, the most taken over. The Iran, as we've talked about many times, is like a key to unlock so much of what the globalists want to do. Okay. And that's where we're at. So, let's see here. Sean Dugan, are you angry at the show, brother? Sean, you've been here a lot and you're almost always negative. I'm wondering if you're just a very smart troll who only jumps in here and there. But, I'm watching you, brother. Just throw out one more nonsense, troll comment and you go bye-bye. Unless you're going to actually bring something legitimate. I'm watching you. I see Sean pop up every once in a while and it's always negative, but then he disappears. He doesn't spam. So he doesn't get banned in my opinion, but I'm watching it. I see you guys. I do read the chat. I can't read it all out loud. I can't respond to everything, but I do read it. I do read it. Yeah, I'd be much more worried about Lindell if he was running for president. Dan, what the hell's your problem, dude? It's not hypersensitivity. It's I have a chat of people that I want to enjoy this. I want them to be a part of a discussion. I want them to get along and actually have real discussions. People who just drop shit in my chat are going to get pooper scoopered out. You understand? There's nothing to be sensitive about, Dan. And why are you defending him, Dan? And, ask yourself that. Why are you defending him? Why are you so worried about it? The troll comment anything I disagree with instead of having discourse with it. No, trolls are okay. We're going to get into this in a second. Free speech is for the government. It's not for my house. Okay. I don't indulge free speech in my own household. I don't indulge free speech here. This is my show. I will choose who stays and who goes. Listen, I wanted to address that. Sorry, I lost track of my thoughts here. What he asked was, what constitutes a troll? This is what constitutes a troll. Trolls come into the chat and just drop bombs. And it's negativity, it's slander, it's anger, it's BS. That's what a troll is. Somebody adding to the conversation is saying like, why aren't you upset about this? It's open-ended. Or they say, did you know blah, 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 and they bring receipts on something. That's like a real discussion. It's not just jumping in my chat and being like, you're a dick, or jumping in my chat and saying like, you're a bunch of morons. Trump's an Epstein guy. Trump's a pedophile. Those are trolls. And that's what I watch for, spamming it. Jumping in my chat and being like, this doesn't happen as much. It used to happen a lot in the old days, but jumping in my chat and being like, join the crypto group, blah, 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 over and over again. Those are trolls. Those are bots. Those go. I clean all those out. Okay. The people who have actually something to offer and want to be part of a discussion, they stay, even if they disagree. And people get all upset about it that I kick people out. Oh, I'm definitely hard on the trolls sometimes, as I should be. Because trolls are assholes. They come into the chat and all they want to do is make it about them. That's not a community. That's not what I'm building here. So a troll, I will always treat hard and I'll kick them out. And I'll also expose their nonsense because I want other people to see it. See, I've been in public speaking and stuff like this and doing digital stuff for a very long time. And so I know how to spot these people. I'm not 100%, but I'm very, very good. And the trolls go. They ruin the stream for everybody. Exactly. As Dog just said, the reason I kick the trolls out is not for my good. You know, it actually hurts me. Trolls are good for engagement, for the algorithm. So I'm actually hurting my own show by booting them out, but I don't care because long-term, my show and this chat and everything are better for kicking them out. That is why I do it, because nobody wants these people in there just saying nonsense. Okay. And then I call out their lies and I call out what they're doing so that the people can hear it. They can see the difference between real conversation, because we played this whole tolerant society thing for way too long. Where'd it get us? Okay, so I'm either going to attack them for laughs. I'm going to attack them to make a point. But the thing is, it's like, we're not going to be, this is not, yeah, exactly. I'm not handing out participation trophies. Maybe they need someone to talk to. Then they're not a troll, Johnny. A troll is somebody who comes in just taking making nonsense. So that's the difference. Anyways, let's get into it. See, Exobo says, Asmongold makes kicking out the trolls part of the show. The audience yearns for it. You see that? That is the #1 most popular, effective, successful streamer in the world. And he kicks out trolls. I always make it a point to learn from the best. So I will be like Asmon. When you're streaming, Be like Asmongold. Except for his personal hygiene. Asmon, brother, if you're watching, which you're not, if you're watching, please take better care of yourself, man. You're eating junk. You need to shower more. You're a great dude. Seem like a great guy. Please take care of yourself. We need common sense people streaming. So, okay. Let's get into it, shall we? So, overseas, Trump he's been ramping up things in Iran. And this has the globalists freaking out because, again, if Iran falls, so does a whole big part of their system. Oil markets change, can no longer be manipulated. Trump is getting around that. He's even redirecting stuff away from the Strait of Hormuz. And this is changing the world order. It's made us the number one energy exporter in the world and made people more dependent on us. It's exposed China, exposed NATO, et cetera, et cetera. It's accomplished a lot. Well, Trump is he's really throwing down the iron fist now because he is extending the way Iran, the way the globalists work through their proxies. He's starting to punish them for that, what the proxies do. And here's the latest, as the Houthis were starting to get involved attacking Saudi Arabia. Now, Trump tweeted this out. Says, a year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time and during our conflict with Iran, they have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they're starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth serve to represent. If they do this again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible, and that the Houthis are a surrogate or proxy of Iran. And major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran and, of course, the Houthis themselves, who I'm very disappointed in that they have until now acted professionally and smart. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Trump is just showing us that he's got his finger on the pulse of this whole thing. Iran, he announced the other day, every attack on a ship means a bridge or a power plant's taken out in Iran. And now he's extending that to the Houthis because Iran thought they'd get smart. And this tells you guys that we are truly in a no games phase now. Trump gave them time to get out jail free card, the MOU, all that. He was like, I'm giving you guys a stupidity free deal. Like, you would be stupid not to take this deal is what I mean by that. And they didn't take it. And now the game is over. He's ramping it up, and this is a big deal because now what Trump has basically just determined and made public is that if you're a proxy, we're going to treat the head. We're not treating the symptoms anymore. We're going after the real problem. And this is, again, got Iran just falling backwards. They are so weak right now, guys, despite what the media is trying to tell you. It's crazy. Well, and here's Rubio giving us a little breakdown of where they're at.
When these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon because the price they're paying is very high despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately. When these people do a deal.
They're not there yet. They're suffering, but not enough. As the Wall Street Journal just reported, the U.S. is surging forces, medics, and weaponry to the Middle East to give President Trump more muscular military options as he considers expanding the conflict against Iran. Axios is now reporting Trump says he is close to a decision on a massive attack on Iran. Now, we've been hearing this for a little bit, and it's not that I trust Axios, but I will tell you this. This is in line with what we've been hearing. This is in line with what Trump has been as steering us towards. It says the details include Trump says we're all set for it. Regarding attack he's been hinting at for weeks, Trump says this attack would be bigger than ever before. He said Israel would join in 2 minutes if I asked them to, but said, we don't need anybody. They haven't received enough pain yet. Quote from Trump. That's exactly what Rubio just said. So that is why we can trust this, because it's also direct quotes. Okay. That's where you got to understand that a lot of these people can call up Trump and get the direct quotes. And so this tells us that it's likely true. Now, Mark Thiessen was on Brett Baer the other night, and he explained how we can win all of this without ever putting boots on the ground.
Devil's advocate, and some of these Democratic senators saying we don't know the plan to end. Like, how do we end this? And they're saying they haven't laid out or heard a specific strategy.
I can give it to you right now.
Go ahead.
It's very simple.
Which is why I asked.
Okay, so we stop the fighting in the ceasefire on the 20-yard line. We take it into the end zone. We do we have about 14 days of combat where we have to take out all the targets that we have available. We take out we took out 85% of their defense industrial base. We take out 95% of it. We set back all their programs, and we further entomb the nuclear dust. Then we stop major combat operations. We impose the blockade. We open up Cargill. We open up the Strait of Hormuz, and then we go and we help the Iranian people overthrow their regime the same way that the United States, we have muscle memory doing this. We liberated 400 million people during the Cold War without boots on the ground. We armed the Contras, we armed the Mujahideen, we armed UNITA Angola, we helped Solidarity, we helped Charter 77 in Czech Republic. We know how to bring down regimes without boots on the ground. We help the Iranian people. Trump has been tweeting out every day now for the last several days pictures of Iranians being executed by the regime. He's standing with the Iranian people. Let's help them overthrow their regime, weaken it militarily, and then help them do the job and finish it.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's what I believe we're headed for. There are reports on the ground that the people are starting to get antsy. We've been talking about maybe sending the Kurds in, partnering. Israel might be the one that goes boots on the ground. Whatever it is, we're heading towards a final conclusion to all this. Now, Rubio, again, this is why I believe the Axios reporting, because Rubio seems to confirm it.
You know, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye.
Do you hear that? That is hard. That goes hard. The president's policy is a head for an eye. You heard us a little bit. We take your head off. That's massive. And that's why I believe we are planning something massive to come up. And listen, we've been attacking them now 10, 12 straight nights. It's just been unloading upon them. This regime. And by the way, how about that whole story about America's out of weapons? Yeah. Okay. I have a bridge to sell you in Arizona and oceanfront property. This is it's just nonsense what they're telling us, but head for an eye. This is laying down the smack. Trump is no longer playing games, if he ever was, and I don't think he was. I think it seemed like he was on purpose. He was giving people outs. He was giving them time to surrender. He was giving them Trump doesn't like bloodshed, but he's going to give every opportunity to not go to the extremes, which he's done over and over again. He's done this since his first term. He says it all the time. I don't want people to die. That's what he said when he won Ukraine and Russia ended before he was elected the second time. I just don't like people dying. He doesn't want that. But when you mess with us, it's a head for an eye.
I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price. Their industrial base has been decimated. Their defense industrial base has been decimated. They're losing launchers. They're losing radars every single night. They are suffering billions of dollars in damage, and their economy is a disaster. But despite all that, okay, these people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal. They send us messages through other countries, third countries. I mean, they're running out of countries to send. Even I had countries here coming up to me, oh, I just spoke to the Iranians. They want to do a deal. The problem is, every time these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon because the price they're paying is very high despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego.
That's what we already heard. But again, Rubio's laying it out. We're ramping it up. We're going to end this. Now, with Saudi Arabia, there was a story going on because, you know, they're always trying to undermine Trump. Well, if Iran can't get a nuke, why does Saudi Arabia get one? To which Trump finally gave us the real details here. The civil nuclear deal, there'll be no enrichment of material, being made between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as ones that Iran and UAE and others already have, will be approved, but is subject to Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. Wow. This is massive because Saudi Arabia has been the big holdout in the region other than, you know, Iran. But there's been a couple other holdouts as well. But the Abraham Accords are massive because it really, truly has brought more peace to Israel than Israel's ever known since it came into, being in 1948. Trump is working on building a sovereign Middle East where Israel is recognized as a part of it. And so he just told Saudi Arabia, remember, for years and years and years, Saudi Arabia controls the U.S. Saudi Arabia is really, that we can't do anything to them. Why don't we not? Well, this is like one of the toughest things we've ever heard him, president in my lifetime, say to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, you guys can have nuclear energy, but you better sign those Abraham Accords. That's pretty huge. If Saudi Arabia joins, holy crap. See, the Saudis are the most powerful country in the area, definitely the wealthiest. And if they join in, it's no one else has an excuse not to. So we could get everybody except for Iran for now on the Abraham Accords, and this just changes everything for Israel. But not just Israel, the world in general. Because if you get to the point where the Middle East is no longer this nonstop hotspot of war, destabilization, oil prices going up and down because of all the craziness, sucking everybody into battle after battle. If that ends and we stabilize it, looking forward, we have an entirely different world. This is crazy. As Glenn Beck puts it, Trump has totally outmaneuvered all these people. Listen to this. This is a great little clip from Glenn.
He outmaneuvered our best thinkers at the Pentagon. Our best thinkers at the Pentagon said, this is the way we fight this. And when we do fight this, God forbid we ever have to fight it, oil will go to $150 to $350 a barrel. That collapses the economy. That's why all of these guys kick the can down the road. Because there's no way out. And the Pentagon knew it. It's going to. So all the advisors said, can't do it because it'll do this. Donald Trump says, well, that's not how I'm going to fight the war. I'm going to fight the war differently, and I'm going to keep the strait open. And they're like, Mr. President, you're not going to be able to. Well, really? Watch me. Because here's how we're going to do it. So they all get on board, and they're all like, okay. And he has kept the price between $110 and $70 a barrel. Today, I think it's an $83 or $88 a barrel, something like that, which is totally doable. We've had that kind of price before. At 120, it starts to get really dicey. I mean, it's expensive, but it's economy collapsing at 120 to 150 sustained. The economy collapses. So his advice, or his advisor said, don't go in because the economy collapsed because of the price of oil. He said, no, that's not a problem. Now, I believe that he thought this would end quicker. I think he really thought that.
The main point is what Glenn started with right there, is that Trump's been outmaneuvering everybody on this. Everything people said would happen hasn't happened. All the doom scrolling, doom pilling people, just black pilling people, it hasn't happened. We haven't gotten there. Trump's been in full control this whole time. It's amazing as this plays out, and it makes so much sense. See, most people can't understand. Most people think Trump is truly just attacking Iran for oil, for he's Bush 2.0. That's what they want you to believe. That's the surface level understanding. But it doesn't take long to go a little deeper and realize, oh, there's so much more going on here. Trump understands it. He set this up. It makes sense where we're headed. And what I said to like my friends in Texas who I recently met with, who did believe that, who believed we just went to Iran because of, it's George Bush 2.0. He's just like a neocon. All I had to say to them was, well, guys, if that's true, why is this the first war in 100 years NATO didn't join us in? And they all didn't have an answer for me. Yeah, that's how you start waking people up. You ask them obvious questions that just, if they don't have an answer to it, it makes them think. And that started rethinking everything. Well, guess what? NATO didn't help us, but now, Keir Starmer is gone. Bye-bye, Keir Starmer. We have a new PM coming into the UK. City of London Centre, UK. Globalist Centre, Brussels, UK, all this. But UK is always a tell. This new PM was coming in. He was supposed to be worse than Starmer. But is it possible that maybe he is Trump has some control over them. Listen to what the shift that's happening in the City of London, UK now with this new PM. This is big.
In terms of illegal immigrants, you got 12,462 entered the country on January 1st. On January 1st, the GDP was, they were spending 2.4% of their defense spending, of their GDP on defense. They were supposed to get to 5%. And heating oil prices are up 42%. And the thing is, you're not making a change. You're actually bringing more extreme left. And no election until 2029?
Well, exactly 3.
Did you hear what he just said? Brilliant extreme left. That's the narrative. But you have Trump's truth right here. Prime Minister's got a big job ahead of him. We discussed North Sea oil trade, military alliance, demine the Hormuz, and more. He's already opening up oil in the North Shores, which has not been opened up in the UK. That's a big difference. But here's the other big one. Andy Burnham has just approved the U.S. military launching strikes against Iran from UK bases. Guys, that was being blocked by Starmer. That was the NATO not helping us, not being there for us, frustrating Trump like crazy. Starmer then gets pushed out, resigns out of nowhere, and now Burnham comes in, who's supposed to be worse. Fox News just reported this, just another leftist, he's worse. And yet, what's one of the first things he does? Yeah, Trump, come use your bases. Yeah, it's good. We'll assist. That sounds like somebody is starting to capitulate a little bit. Trump, I mean, he didn't come in and is like, oh, put down a stronger foot. He didn't do what Mark Carney did after Trudeau left and just doubled down on, all the anti-American BS. No, this guy coming in and already drilling more and now approving the U.S. using our bases, launching strikes from our bases, which, by the way, Iran doesn't have missiles that can reach this anymore. They fired off that one to show us a couple months ago. Now they can't even hit Israel. So this is a new strategic connection for us. Just comes out of nowhere. I don't know. To me, guys, that looks like something is shifting in the whole globalist world. And then we got this today. The U.S. is meeting directly with the Russians to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. That's Rubio talking to Lavrov. They're there. Ukraine. We've had many people coming out. German Chancellor, Macron, Burnham from UK saying it's time for the Ukraine war to end. Where did that come from? Where's that coming from? These are the people who've been saying, no, we have to hold strong. We have to support Ukraine. This has to be finished. Putin must pay. We can't let Putin win. Now they're all saying it's time to end it. And we're there meeting them. Very interesting. Very interesting how the shift is coming. This, to me, listen, something is shifting. Something's shifting. These people have no leverage. It's all been taken away. They know that Iran is over. They've lost it. It's just, they're just hanging on for dear life at this point. But once that's finished, changes everything. Changes everything over there. Oil markets, Middle East, everything. Which in turn changes shipping, the funding to City of London. All that changes significantly once Iran is finished. On top of that, you have the U.S. getting stronger and stronger. Now that we are the main oil place, energy exporter of the world, nobody has leverage over us anymore. Our military is by far the strongest military. We have the greatest economy, and we're now the energy capital of the world. Good luck. What leverage could anybody possibly have over us at this point? To me, they're getting weaker and weaker, and they're, I'm not saying they fully surrendered. Obviously, that hasn't happened. But this does look like they're moving, to me, this is what I'm seeing. I think they're moving into survival mode. We have to now, everything we did was failing. The more we push, the weaker we get, the more we're falling apart. If we're going to survive, it's time to retreat. It's time to retreat, hunker down back home, and rethink, rebuild, try to just preserve. That's what it looks like to me. Iran's ending. Cuba's getting outed. Venezuela's done. Ukraine, Russia, about to end because they don't have any more resources to push into that. it's all starting to fall apart. I feel like the city of London is starting to realize this is a battle they can no longer win. And they're starting to retreat. Not surrender, that's different, but they're starting to retreat. While all this is going on, just more realizing who Ukraine really is. Ukraine is currently now the new porn capital of the world. How'd they manage to do that while they're fighting this brave war for independence? How they managed to pull that off? No, Ukraine continues to be a money laundering, dirty, corrupt nation for City of London assets, making that money. Porn is one of the ways they do it. Do trafficking, all that, and it's just coming out. Crazy stuff. Parliament legalized production, distribution of pornography. Countries at war, men are dying at the front lines. Zelensky's passing porn laws. There you go. Tells you what they really are, right? That's all you gotta see. Ukraine, what a disaster. So while this is going on, Trump just announced the White House ballroom is going to double as a big military facility. Wonder what that's for. I'm telling you, folks, the information it's like nobody's out there saying, directly the war we're in, what like the shift Trump is bringing, but the signs are everywhere. The signs are everywhere. This is we're no longer going to just be a front. The American presidency is no longer just going to be a controlled puppet going forward. What Trump's doing is securing things for the future so that we remain sovereign and our executive remains powerful. This is, you're not going to have those easy ends to the presidency anymore. Just like they couldn't assassinate him, he's going to make it tougher. And then as this all plays out, guys, this is where we start seeing the golden age playing out.
And oil will be coming, it's going to be tumbling down. It was 3 weeks ago. They thought we had a deal. I said, I don't think we have a deal with these guys. They break every deal they make. But I said, but people thought the geniuses on Wall Street, they came down, really down, and goes back up a little bit. But it's going to come down maybe lower than when we even started. But just give me a little time. I always say, I said to the farmers, give me a little time, and look how we're doing with the farmers. What's going on with the farms and everything. This country is rocking and rolling.
You break energy, you shore up our food, you shore up our production, and all of a sudden we're fully sovereign, prices are cheaper, people are making more money, and we have no globalist control influence in our nation at all. That's what Trump's building. That's why energy was so important. That's why breaking down all their tentacles across the world is so important. So we can become sovereign. And the energy aspect is what Trump is going to be one of Trump's greatest legacies. The oil is flowing as we build more refineries and import more oil. Once Iran's done, the prices will plummet. And then he also knows, let's get the all energy going. Trump is now considering offshore nuclear power plants, aiming to quadruple nuclear capacity by 2050 and meet AI data center demand. Everything. See, a lot of people are like, Trump's a tech bro, he's a technocracy. No, that's not true. The real technocracy is the globalists. I've covered this in previous shows before, breaking down how Europe is basically a technocracy right now. China is basically a technocracy right now. But what we're doing is completely different than that. Trump wants us to lead the world in tech and in energy so that we don't rely on anybody else and so that we remain independent and our people remain independent. This sets us free. This sets us free. We are the ones in control of these things. The more energy the people have, the cheaper things get, and the more we are able to innovate and grow. This is what Trump's setting us up for. He's building us there, and they are thinking in terms that nobody else is. The latest from Howard Lutnick posting, who's Commerce Secretary, America will lead the next great era of space commerce. The Trump administration believes with space, it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. What are they planning? What are they building out there? I don't know. They don't give many specifics in this. They talk a lot about what's possible, what's going, but it's very interesting, isn't it? All of this is leading the world in tech. You outpace the rest of the world in innovation, and nobody can catch us. What have we learned since the way Trump has unleashed the military recently? It's that our military was far ahead of everybody else's And we were told everybody else was catching up. What Trump is doing right here, this is announcing over and over again, we will lead the world in innovation. We will continue to be in front of everything. We will remain the greatest, strongest, most advanced nation in the world history. We will remain there, and we're doubling down on it. See, the managed decline, this is an announcement that the managed decline era of America is over. It really is. And guys, if you own SpaceX, you're probably going to do pretty well in the next 5-10 years based on this kind of stuff. But listen, we're entering a new era. There's no doubt about it. We're watching Iran fall. The house of cards is falling on globalism. The whole Davos, City of London system, it's collapsing on of itself. They are going to still fight. They're going to still try stuff. Do not get me wrong on that. But we're watching as retreat is happening. We're watching as shifts keep happening. It's more and more is being exposed, and they're getting weaker and weaker by the day. There's a reason why they're freaking out about this midterms and they're going all in. And again, I've explained how even if they win the midterms, even if the Democrats win the midterms in the House, it's not going to stop Trump's foreign policy. It's not going to stop the Justice Department. They're still not going to win 28. The black pillars want you to believe that if we lose the House, it's the end of the world. The Democrats want you to believe if they win the House, their momentum is here for the future. But that's just not what's happening. The foundations being laid, the shift being laid worldwide, and what Trump is showing us by the energy, the unwinding of the globalist influence of America, that's generational change. We're heading to a better, more exciting world, especially if you live in America. And I do believe that the better it gets here, the more it'll spread to other nations for those willing to accept it. I believe the golden age is beginning. I really do. And I've yet to see any reason why I shouldn't believe that. All right. Guys, if you don't mind, hit that like, that subscribe. We are going to talk about the midterms next. A lot of new information coming out on election integrity and shifts for the electorate. More Democrat freakouts over the commie takeover of their party. So fun stuff, good stuff coming up in the next segment. But first, I do want to get into the chat and answer you guys who have either super chatted me or tagged me. Big Chungus with a $5 super chat. I appreciate you, sir. Says, my feed is suddenly being inundated with Dem blowout numbers for the midterms. I don't know what's real anymore, which is probably the point. Exactly. I don't even know what to tell you other than exactly. That is true. And Chungus, thank you for the super chat, friend. There were two. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but there were just two polls released that were absolutely operations to discourage people, to discourage MAGA voters, basically, because they were outlier polls. The last 2 months, the Republicans have been closing the gap. The trend has been squarely in favor of President Trump and the Republicans. So what did they do? They just released two new polls that they're spreading everywhere to discourage you, that show the Democrats way further ahead. Think about it, though. How does that make sense? The Democrats haven't had any good news. The Trump administration hasn't necessarily had any bad news. There's no reason for such a massive shift in just the last couple of weeks. Remember, polls by themselves lie. The trends usually tell the truth. So the trend has still been in one direction, but they're going to push up, especially because we're in the summertime and the real push for the elections hasn't happened yet. K2 for you says, okay, youngins, I'm Generation Jones and the boomers have been in tech over 40 years. We're not all MSM watching libtards. There's plenty of us informed, tech loving seasoned citizens. I agree. I wasn't shouting down boomers. Doc Knows says next industrial revolutions in space, low and zero gravity manufacturing unlocks amazing stuff. That's going to be very interesting, right? As that stuff starts coming out. Yeah, they always lie about the polls, don't they? Let's see here. Any other tags, questions, comments that I'm missing? Let me look through. I do want to catch up with you guys if I see it. Bruce Rice quotes, liberals gave up the idea of ecumenicalism and turned to radical essentialism. That's what the Democratic Party has forced down our throats by Victor Davis. I like that. That's good. That is good. Tommy's podcast. Tommy does get some interesting people on his podcast, but I agree. All right. All right, guys. Well, if you do have anything else for me, please tag me. And then if not, that's totally fine. But tags help me find what you guys are trying to get to me when there's a lot of people chatting. And then if you do want to support the channel, super chats, memberships in the description, get a free month, and obviously super chats you can send right now. And yeah, that you guys know. You guys know the deal. But if nothing else, hit the like, hit the subscribe. The watching, the engagement is all helpful. So thank you guys for that. Share with your friends. Yada, yada, yada. If you're watching on X, I don't get your chat, but you could repost and share it. So thank you guys for this. Kevin with the $20 super chat. There he comes in. Thank you, Kevin, as always, brother. It says, huge problem on the highways. Islam out of 5 drivers. Islam? Interesting. I've been seeing some horrific accidents from illegal immigrants recently. I didn't see the Islam part of it, but that's terrible. And you're a truck driver, right, Kevin? You would know, but that's so sad, man. The illegals, the fact that they gave them licenses and people get killed as a result is just one of the most disgusting, sad things ever. And I'm glad you brought attention to it. I do try to cover it when it fits in the segment, but it just happens all the time. And sometimes you just cover stuff and it's like it's not really making a difference. It's just telling sad stories, and I try not to do that too much on my channel. I'm not the not the evening news trying to make everybody sad, but yeah, it is definitely a major thing out there, and it's horrible. It's horrible. Okay. Monica says, thank you, Montana Highway Patrol, for rescuing hundreds of kids and deporting hundreds of illegal drivers. That's awesome. That's awesome. I haven't heard that, but I'll look for that. Yeah, Fox News is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who is establishment Republican shill and hates Trump. He just hates Trump. But he also knows his audience, so he can't go anti-Trump, because if he did, he'd be in trouble. So they're just subversive over there. That's what they do over there. But okay, guys, you ready? We do need to talk about the midterms. Excuse me. Let me take a drink here real quick. Getting a little dry in the throat. It's only one of the most important things going on this year is there's an election. Yeah, some people forget midterms usually aren't that exciting, but this time we are doing the work. We are treating this election with the importance it deserves, like a presidential election. So we're going to constantly keep covering it so that people go out and vote, and also don't doom. We need to know what's going on. We need to realize that in some ways the midterms are as important as presidential elections. Not quite, but close. But in regards to the other day, we got the absolute proof admitted by Democrats that illegal aliens are being registered to vote and voting in federal and state elections. Not supposed to admit that, Mickey Sherrill. You're not supposed to do it. You just open a big old can of worms. Just pretend it doesn't happen. Keep the lie going. Make us do the work. But she thought she'd get ahead of something, and now it's getting really, really bad for them. They called it a glitch. Problem is, the software vendor is now coming out disputing the New Jersey governor's glitch claim, saying the state approved those foreigners on the voter roll. Here's John Solomon with more.
As you know, last night, the New Jersey governor admitted that 6,600 illegal aliens had made it onto New Jersey's voter rolls. At least that number, it could be a lot larger. And 400 of them actually cast a vote. That is the largest number of foreigners ever to vote in any collection of an election in American history. When we told you that last night, the governor said, not our fault, it was a software glitch, no big deal. Well, overnight, we reached out to the software company that runs New Jersey's system. And you know what they said? There's no software glitch at all. The state of New Jersey knew they were putting non-citizens, i.e. foreigners, onto the voter rolls. It is the state's responsibility to determine who is eligible to vote and who's not. The software had it marked right. That is a major contradiction. And just a little while ago, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights in the U.S. Justice Department, Harmeet Dillon, announced that there is an investigation of New Jersey now into whether they knowingly were allowing non-citizens to vote and to get on the voter rolls. Remember, a week ago, she sent a letter out saying, if you let non-citizens vote knowingly, you're in trouble. Well, now the vendor's comments raise the very strong possibility that one of the blue states in America may have acceded to allowing non-citizens to vote. We're going to keep a close eye on that. Hope to get Harmeet Dillon on the show the next couple of days to describe what is going on. But that is a big thing.
Solomon doing the work, getting Harmeet Dillon on the case. This is good news. See, they should not have opened up Pandora's box by admitting it. The Democrats made a huge mistake because the narrative was this doesn't happen. Well, if it never happens, you can't even admit that it happens on accident. Because now you got a lot of people asking a lot of questions. And this is wonderful for our side and the exposure we've been crying out for at least since 2020. But for those who doubt that the Democrats welcome this, well, here's Barack Obama. It's back a few years ago. This is from 2016, right before Trump won the election.
If you want to vote and you show up at your polling place, they can't stop you from voting. They can't stop you from voting. If people want to know how to vote, then you can go to iwillvote.com. The fact of the matter is that we give our power away all the time. You know, we tell ourselves, oh, it's hard, it's not going to matter, it's not going to count. And the powers that be, they're counting on us giving our power away.
Many of the millennials, dreamers, undocumented citizens, and I call them citizens because they contribute to this country, are fear.
Did you hear, first of all, we're going to get to Obama in a second here. He's going to tell you how it should be. Did you just hear what she said? Dreamers, undocumented citizens. I call them citizens. Did you hear what she said? Oh, man. People, we forget how bad things were when this man was in charge, how far we'd fallen, how much they controlled the narrative. We forget. Looking back 10 years, think about how good we have it now. There is no one in the media who would now say that, even on the left, because they would get destroyed. Oh, okay, I say no one. The far lefties would, but on a regular show interviewing the president, they wouldn't say that anymore. We don't hear about the dreamers anymore. We forget how good we've gotten in the last 10 years, how far we've come. But the fact that she said that, like it was nothing. This is couple days away from them believing Hillary Clinton was about to be elected. They thought it was all gravy, baby. We can just be outwardly who we say we are. Crazy. And here's Obama's response.
Fearful of voting. So if I vote, will immigration know where I live? Will they come for my family and deport us?
Not true.
Okay.
And the reason is, first of all, when you vote, you are a citizen yourself, and there is not a situation where the voting rolls somehow are transferred over and people start investigating, etc. The sanctity of the vote is strictly confidential in terms of who you voted for. If you have a family member who maybe is undocumented, then you have an even greater reason to vote.
This is going to...
Whoa. He basically just told them you have no fear. You don't have to fear at all about us pursuing you if you're illegal and vote. That's exactly what he just said. He said it in the very schmarmy, careful way that Obama would speak, but that's exactly what he said. Well, do you have to worry about ICE coming to your home if you vote? Well, no, it's confidential. Oh, no, because citizens only vote. What a dodge of the question. That's the tell. He directly said it. This is how, and then, by the way, they were smarter back then because Obama was smarter than all these people, all these dummies who now are Democrats. Obama was smarter. That's why he was so dangerous. He knew how to manipulate his words, how to get in, how to cover his ass with the way he said stuff. He was very smart. Thankfully, Obama's lazy and did not build out the team, the future he needed to in order to ensure they kept moving forward, because they had it all, folks. They had it all. They came in 2008 election. Obama won overwhelmingly, won the House overwhelmingly, and had 60 senators veto-proof vote. We haven't seen that in decades. Obama had it all, and he lost it because he's lazy. And he didn't want to do the work. He just wanted to be celebrated as a king. Thank God. Thank God for that. There's ways God protects us sometimes we don't even know it. But remember how bad it was. But now they're not as smart as Obama. They outwardly say their stupid thoughts. They outwardly say how crazy they are. And it's really bad for them. James Carville continues to crash out over this election because he knows this whole communist uprising in the Democratic Party is terrifyingly bad for the Democrats. Here's the latest little clip of a crash out from James Carville.
I'm going to read something to you, and I'm going to tell you why this is typical. A progressive House candidate who served in a battleground district in Michigan as law and Democratic Party officials once said black U.S. political leaders are a pillar of the capitalist and imperialist American establishment. Yeah, Jim Clyburn is part of that. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly who Martin Luther King was. Yeah, you're right. That's who John Lewis was. And these people are paternalistic, and it's a bunch of overeducated little white turds who think they know more than other people know, and they know what's wrong. And they're going to go and then you got, they're talking about indicting Netanyahu. And that the problem is you have a candidate, a DSA candidate, New York, saying we should be against interracial dating. Let me tell you something. These people, and these are to all my black friends and people like me, they think they know more than you do. They think their history is more glorious than yours. They think that Lenin was a more glorious human being than Martin Luther King or Frederick Douglass. That's what they really think. And if you know that, you don't know your history. And you should view these people with extreme skepticism, because they think they know what's better for you than you know what's better for you. And they think they know your history better than you know their history. This asshole don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, Jamesy. How many whiskey sours you have before that, James? You were slurring a little bit. Catched up on his bed with a little pillow behind his back. He can't even be bothered to sit at a table in a chair to have his Zoom call. He's just sitting back with his, whiskey sours. Just like, oh, damn it, these DSA, they're killing us. I'm telling you guys, the smart people know this is so bad for them. This is not how you win elections. You tell the lies. You lie to them. You don't tell the truth. You don't tell us who you really are. This is an absolute crash out, and Carville knows it. Carville knows it. He's done these elections. He's won. He's the reason Clinton won. He ran Clinton's campaign. He knows exactly how to win elections, and Clinton shouldn't have won. Clinton was terrible. He should not have won. With his past, the rape allegations, everything, he should not have won. He was a consultant for the Obama administration, won massive, he knows how to win. And he's like, this is not how you win. This is terrible for us. And then we got people like Brit Hume, who Brit is respectable, old school reporter, been around forever. Even he sees that things are not looking good for the Democrats right now because of the commies taking over.
Well, I certainly think that's part of one of the ingredients in the general unpopularity of the Democratic Party, which is, I should say, is one of the reasons Republicans have some hope here. The Democrats are really in bad odor with the public, and they got all these extreme candidates out there, and some of whom have won nominations. One of whom got elected mayor of New York City, and is a very visible presence. So that's something that Republicans are sure to hit on. That the Democratic Party has gone so far left it's off the side of the table, and they'll do with it what they can. But it's tough in a midterm when people are feeling strongly, as we've discussed, about the economy and the cost of living, to buck that. And I think Republicans have a tall order ahead of them.
Yeah. They're hedging their bets everywhere. You see that? The hedging of the bets. This is the tell. They're scared. Hume's old school establishment Republican. I'm not a fan of him, but he's been around. He's smart. He knows the signs. These are warnings, folks. You have the Democrats crashing out. Britt can't crash out because he's supposed to be a Republican. So, but he's warning. He's warning us. They're getting it out there. The mainstream media is reporting things are tightening up. Things are tightening up. Do not let this slip. They're mad at the Democrats. They're like, you guys are supposed to win this to restore balance to the force. Come back. Give a balance back. Trump is winning too much. Things are shifting too much. The globalist world order is falling apart. This is not supposed to happen. Get over it. Come on, wake up. You went too left. I know there's a conspiracy belief out there that the Democrats planned this somehow, that this is all a plant to let the commies come out and this is all a fake civil war of the Democratic Party. I'm sorry, folks. It's not. It's not. The Democrats are legitimately worried. They are legitimately worried. We tend to give too much credence to the other side. They came along for a long time, but their superpower always, the way they were taking over our nation and getting into elections, their superpower for a long time was patience. They were, their infiltration into government, into the institutions, the colleges, universities. The superpower was, we will do our role and someday we will turn this country around. Just like in a previous clip I played another segment where Rubio, actually it was JFK, said that they are disciplined beyond any democracy. That's because they are fighting for an end game goal that might go past their lifetime. And they knew that. And they would just be sold to the cause. So patience was their superpower. Well, the problem is, once they started losing, because they got close, folks, they got really close to taking over this country and ruining it for good. Once it got there, they got greedy. And when Trump pushed back, they panicked and they overshot in the Biden administration and woke up too many people. And now the problem is that the young people in their group are jumping forward saying, nope, we're not waiting. We're not going back. We're not playing the long game. We're going for it. And Americans are fighting back. And all these establishment types, the Carvilles, the globalists, the establishment Republicans are not happy about it. Because the only way you win in America is to subvert us over time. Subvert us over time. And that's not what they're doing. Now, on our side, we are getting interesting stuff coming out. We have our own fights on the Republican side. And one of them, obviously, is the Senate with Thune. And what a disaster that is, them holding back Save America Act, other stuff. But then we also got things like this, where Mike Lindell, who's now running for governor in Minnesota, endorsed by President Trump, supposed to be MAGA Mike, has a immigration reform policy he put out that basically amounts to amnesty. This document refers to illegal aliens as undocumented immigrants, explicitly presents Lindell's plan as alternative to mass deportations. This plan would give all illegal aliens without a criminal conviction a 6-month window to obtain a worker visa card, which says it's specifically designed for existing undocumented population as a permanent non-citizen work authorization. Ugh, gross. This is not what we want, folks. This is not what MAGA wants. Now, we have two ways to look at this. Lindell is either not who he's led us to believe he is, and this is a very establishment Republican approach to all this, or Lindell came up with this plan thinking, I'll be smart, this will help me get votes in Minnesota to win, and then the federal government will overturn this because no state can determine immigration policy. So that's kind of where we're at right now, folks. Was this like Lindell trying to play 4D chess and it's probably backfiring on his base? Or was this Lindell showing us who he really is? I don't know, but I don't like it one way or the other. It's not the issue you do this on, especially not when we could be making progress right now. We have great candidates winning the primaries. We're getting more MAGA, and in the House, Mike Johnson's doing the work. He just got past the NDAA with the Save America Act attached. Now this can go to the Senate and can be passed with 51 votes. Here's Mike telling us how we could finally get this through. Although I'm not betting on it because the Senate's already saying they're going to change some things. But anyways, here's the strategy. And it tells me we're getting closer whether or not it passes. The pressure's mounting with all this evidence of election fraud coming out. And then Johnson and the president are throwing everything at them to either get it through or expose them. And both of them we win. One we win faster. The other one we win slower. But we still win.
And the budget resolution that unlocks our third reconciliation bill, which of course is Republicans' best shot to get as much of the Save America Act into law as possible, in addition to funding our national defense and our farmers. Republicans support our troops, our farmers, and election security. We're the only team in Washington that does. Many of you doubted our success. Many of you standing around me in the Skaggle right now said, let me read you a sample of the headlines. Quote, House Republicans face final week gauntlet. Another said, Johnson's rocky sprint to recess. Another said it was Johnson's make or break week. Despite nearly every Democrat voting against everything I just read you, House Republicans delivered. Now, many of you like to say that major legislating can't happen in an election year. We just proved you wrong. This week we continue to deliver for the people, and we're going to continue that streak all the way through the end of this year and into the next Congress. We're increasingly confident that we will hold and grow this majority in the House. We must, because you're seeing a demonstration of the two sides, the divergent views for America.
The third reconciliation bill is Republicans' best shot to get as much of the Save America Act into law as possible. Need the 50 plus 1, which is J.D. Vance. So it can be done. It's going to be tough, but it can be done. And again, kudos to Johnson, man. Kudos to Johnson. He is, he's the best Speaker of the House since Newt. He just is. He continues to get stuff through. Now, Trump is hammering this home, and this goes to the whole idea that the Save America Act is performing two goals here. A, it's progressing the election debate over our fraud, over the integrity of our elections. It's progressing that and could get passed, even though it's a long shot. The other part is continuing to expose these senators who are feckless, controlled by foreign interests, want the establishment back, and this is why Trump keeps hammering it home, because one way or the other, it's going to lead to wins. But here's Trump doubling down again.
Finally, we have to pass the Save America Act to defend American elections. And I have to say, Mike Johnson and Congress have done a great job, but we're having a hard time in the Senate. The Senate, what they're doing is just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory last night in Arizona. I've had victories everywhere. But we're not going to be able to take it much longer when they can't get past voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots because they're crooked as hell.
That language is interesting. Trump has not spoken like that before. Let me just play that a little bit again.
It's just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die.
What he says next is very interesting.
We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory.
I tried to be nice. We can't take this much longer. What does this mean? Now, the Senate, not the House. The House has been magnified enough where we get stuff through. Mike Johnson has proved that. As I just said, and even Trump acknowledges that again and again. Mike Johnson's been awesome. The Senate is the problem. The Senate is the House of Lords. The Senate is where you get voted in and you last 6 years and you're on a rotating process to begin out of. So it takes longer to purge it, whereas the House is voted on every 2 years. Easy to purge. Well, easier. 6 years, okay? They just keep rotating. So you're stuck with them for a while. That's the House of Lords. That's where they're trying to kill Trump's agenda. And Save America Act is the ultimate proof of this. What does Trump mean by this? Well, the Senate is the establishment. They are the ones owned by globalists. Let's just be honest about it. Allegedly. I'll say that to protect myself. Allegedly. But the point is like they're just putting their foot down all kinds of stuff that is not good for the American people, or the American people want. They put it, you know, Trump said that it goes to die there. What does not being nice anymore mean? Well, I think of a couple things. A, it could be exposure of these people. He's releasing stuff on them, lets it leak out, and all of a sudden a bunch of senators start falling off. That's a possibility. The other possibility is that he unleashes J.D. Vance as the leader of the Senate. See, in the Constitution, the leader of the Senate is the vice president. But because of decades and centuries now of Senate rules, the vice president stays out of it unless summoned. That hasn't been used in a very long time, the vice president as the actual leader of the Senate. They vote on a majority leader and that person is in lead. J.D. Vance has that opportunity. Now, J.D. Vance is a servant of the president. We voted for Trump first. He's part of the executive branch. So it's not like J.D. just goes in and waltzes in and is like, I'm taking over the Senate. No, Trump has to determine he's ready to do that. It's going to be at Trump's behest that J.D. Vance goes in, because Trump has to be 100% behind it to force it through, because the Senate's going to fight it like crazy. They'll ultimately lose because it's the Constitution. But it's going to be a fight like crazy to do it. So it has to have Trump's full weight behind it. If Trump decides, JD, I'm putting you in control of the Senate, that's a sign. I wonder if he's going to do it. We don't know. He could do it, but it's fascinating when Trump says this. To me, though, it does tell me that Trump is going to do something soon. I really do. And again, we haven't seen, I don't even remember the last time a vice president took over the Senate. It's been a very long time, but it's possible because it is in the Constitution. So we'll see what Trump means by this, but this is the harshest language he's used yet. The harshest language he's used yet. He ran after him. Remember, a month ago, they had the luncheon where Trump yelled at them, got in a shouting match with Bill Cassidy. They, standing with Thune there, Thune looking very nervous next to Trump. This is the war. See, they're digging their heels in because the Senate is one of the last places where they still have power. We've been watching as the foreign aspects of the globalists, Davos crowd, City of London, they're losing power left and right. And they're starting to give in certain areas. The retreat might be in full effect. We've been watching, as I covered in my last segment, but the Senate, they still have power, and their power is the power of no. But Trump might be able to remove that power. And that's what we're going to be watching and seeing. But Trump continues to work within the system because it'll last. It's more lasting change. Now, where are we at heading into the midterms? Well, I think with what Trump's already doing and with the shifting happening, we're still in position to win. Here is the trends. Okay, this is per Decision Desk. Just 1 month ago, they had Dems at 237. In 1 month, it's shifted. Republicans are up 13, Democrats down 13. Now, there's other polls that have it even closer than this, but this is just showing you guys the trends that keep happening. But there's a couple polls they launched today, including this Emerson poll. See, things had been tightening for 2 months. So what they do today, they launched a Fox News poll and an Emerson poll that showed the Democrats way ahead. So now we're supposed to believe that the Democrats are suddenly 12 points ahead in the generic ballot, even though all the other polls have them 3, 4 points, 2 points in some of them. This is a shot to mess up the algorithms. There are outlier polls to throw off the aggregates. That's really what it is. But you see, Emerson is not to be trusted. This is back in 2024 when they came out and had a more accurate poll with Trump ahead, and then in 1 month they flipped it 10 points and pushed Harris as winning bigly going into the home stretch. So Emerson, not to be trusted. They have wild swings, and the Fox News poll is largely considered to be garbage. So just letting you guys know, that's where we're at with all that. Now, we should all feel better just knowing that currently Kamala Harris is the front runner of the 2028 for the Democrats. This should give you a lot of hope looking ahead. The New York Magazine reported this, and here, just a little reminder.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
I'm not scared, guys. I don't know about you. I'm not scared. But especially, if Trump's running again, as he said last night.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's a special place, and I am here to announce my candidacy. I'm only kidding. Boy, I tell you, what a group. We have thousands of people outside on a weekday.
Trump trolling everybody. I love it so much. He's the best. Listen, the future is bright. Regardless of what happens in the House this fall, Republicans will hold the Senate. We're going to be more MAGA. We're replacing 4 Rhino senators this fall already because of the primaries. The MAGA House is going to get more MAGA. I think we're going to win the House, but even if we lose it, we still hold the Senate and the presidency. They're not going to be able to get much done. 2028 and ahead, though, guys, it is big trouble for them. Big, big trouble. So, stay white-pilled, stay optimistic, because the future is very bright. And again, like these problems the Democrats have that Carville's freaking out about, they're just beginning. It's only going to get worse from here. The party is eating itself. They have no one to run. They have no future. They're going back to Kamala Harris. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. I'll just leave this headline up here just to let you know and to make sure everybody knows, like, they really are in a bad place, regardless of what happens this November. Okay, hit that like, hit that subscribe, guys. Next, we have the Grifter Report. Back after a day off. We have a lot to get into. The grifters are, it's not looking good on them. The walls are closing in on some of them. But before we get into it, I do want to get into the chat. Make sure I answer your questions and comments and get caught up with you guys before moving on. I thought I did see a couple tags, but maybe not. Violence and Poetry says, I have a different take. Dems were willing to be incremental and patient, but their dogma insisted they import low IQ foreign commies. Witness the fruits of their importation. That's an interesting take. The only reason I disagree with it is because the vast majority of people voting communist are not foreign born. They are white kids who are, and I showed this yesterday, but the studies show that it's white kids with degrees who get crappy jobs. So they're bitter. Their parents paid for them to get these crappy degrees and they got indoctrinated, and now they're bitter that they're not thriving and succeeding. And so they're lashing out against the system. But the vast majority of those voting communist are come from wealthy to upper middle class families and are white. And so that's the reason I disagree with your assessment. But it is an interesting theory. We can only dream they run Harris again. Cakewalk for MAGA. Dude, there's no way Kamala Harris can win the presidency. I did talk about Lindell. Listen, I don't know what else to say about Lindell, guys, because here's the deal. Lindell is already backtracking. He's already saying stuff like, I don't support amnesty. He's already in a fix-it mode. So I don't think the story is going to go very far. But, it was interesting. But I don't think it's one of those things we need to spend tons of time on. Here's the deal. Mike Lindell is, I don't know exactly what to think of Lindell. I think he's tried to do some good things for America. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't know if he's very clever. He definitely does some stuff that's kind of weird, like Lindell TV, where he gives Emerald Robinson a show. And Emerald Robinson is a total fraud. And her show is just a joke. So it's like, I don't know what to think of Lindell. I don't love him, but he's better than a Democrat. I'll say that. He's better than a Democrat. So, that's kind of where we're at. I don't want to spend a ton of time on Lindell because of that. It's just not worth it to me. I don't think it's interesting enough or meaningful enough. Now, if you're in Minnesota, you probably disagree with me, but again, everything Mike said he would do is in that bill, that 18-page thing. Everything he said, that he can't. He's a governor. That's federal law, and federal law supersedes it. So that's the kind of thing, I just don't worry about that. That's why I didn't spend a lot of time on Lindell. I didn't say Lindell was a fraud. I said Emerald Robinson is a fraud. Emerald Robinson is a total grifter. She is a liar. I've caught her in several lies. She has just been caught so many times, and she always weasels her way out of it. She's a total grifter. And I don't know why Lindell gave her a show. But maybe she just duped him. She's got a long track record of that. Let's see here. Soul Survivor, scrolling through Threads after the election fraud files dropped. Threads? Why would you be on Threads? Threads is awful. Sorry. Question, could I help you understand the steps and logic people took to come to conclusions Trump stole the election from Kamala? Yeah. Oh, that sounds like Threads. There is no logic to it. They're sore losers, and they can't admit they lost because they live in a liberal bubble where they don't have any MAGA people in their world. That's why. So that's their logic. That's it. It's all anecdotal evidence. Holy Smoke says, aren't polls bad for GOP because we go on vacation, don't pick up pollsters' calls? Polls traditionally in the summertime are bad for Republicans. That is true. And there's usually a reversal come fall. Emerald is a total black pill doomer, and I can't stand her. I just cannot stand her. She lies. She's always negative. She's like, her reporting is often just egregiously proven wrong, and then she's always got a reason for it. The most recent, well, not most recently, but I mean, her reporting up to 2024, the election, was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. It was full black pill bullshit. just to scare everybody that they had taken over and Trump wasn't going to win because he refused to listen to him. She just denigrated Trump at every opportunity. And then when he won overwhelmingly on election night, she started saying like, somebody jumped in and fixed it, stopped the fraud. Somebody jumped in and did it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's a miracle. This is so weird. And it's just like, I cannot stand Emerald Robinson. She is horrible. She is horrible. She said, okay, Violet says, allow me to clarify. Outwardly commie candidates tend to be foreign born. Witness Mamdani's cadre voters are white failures. A lot of the candidates are foreign. Well, that's true. That is definitely true. And they, you know what they do? They play upon the white guilt of those students who are also commies because, it's a lot harder to win when you're white in the Democratic Party. How did Kamala get 73 plus or negative million with M votes? I'm going to research this more. Oh my God, if we don't fix this, they will, but who knows? Well, here's the deal. They rigged 24. 24 was completely rigged, but they couldn't rig it enough. See, the Trump administration, well, not the administration at the time, the Trump team, the RNC, they fought hard. Not only did they bring in an overwhelming number of voters, but they also they played the system the Democrats set up, which was getting in the early votes as well, banking those votes, and they sent out lawyers and lawsuits like crazy to slow down the rig. And by doing that, by doing a full frontal assault on the system to slow down the rigging, they accomplished it. And it was a miracle. God gave us a miracle. And now going forward, like, we are in charge. And even if the elections are rigged, if there's still rigging going on federally, I can't speak for each state like California, but federally speaking, we are in control of the elections now. It doesn't mean they won't try stuff in some states, but it's going to be slowed down so much now that unless they actually do have some candidates that can really pull votes, they get some narrative, they're not going to be able to win. See, people are like, they're just going to rig it again. They're just going to rig it again. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. They rigged 24 and we still won. And now we're in charge. So even if they can rig stuff, they cannot rig it at the same level they did before when we won. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. I'm not saying it's all fixed, because it's not. They'll still steal House seats in some states. They might even steal a state or two. But the rigging in general can never be as big as it was in 2020. Well, not never, if they got back in charge again, but it won't be what it was in 2020 on our watch right now. It won't even be what it was in 24. That's why I know 2028 is going to be, for us, running against this moron or Newsom or any other retard they put up there. They don't have a good candidate. And if it's Vance, Rubio, or DeSantis, are you killing me? Are you kidding me? We're going to destroy them. By that time, Trump's economic policies will be in full effect. People will be doing much better. Iran will be long gone. Oil will be low. 28 is going to be, I won't say easy because no election's easy, but 28 is going to be a landslide. Everything is in order for 28 to be a massive win for us, even bigger than 24. This midterms, however, Trump's doing a lot of hard stuff and a lot of people are confused and the economy hasn't fully caught up yet. So they have a path to win this year in the House. But 28, good luck. Trump's still going to be in charge of the DOJ. And that is what matters for the elections, folks. It's like, I'm just sorry, but this retard right here is never winning an election. I'm sorry. She's never winning an election. She got as close as she possibly could in 24 because it was rigged. But even Kamala Harris is so stupid that she could not even win the popular vote against a Republican who hadn't won the popular vote in 20 years in the second most rigged election of all time after 2020. She couldn't even win that. This woman is retarded. And Newsom is retarded and a fraud. Buttigieg, seriously? I mean, come on. None of these people are scary. None of these people are scary. We have awesome candidates. We have awesome people lined up. They have nobody. I'm just telling you right now. It is so bad for them. They are so scared. And I'm so here for it. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this. Like this poll right here. Like, this is JD Vance among Republicans. He's still in the 85 to 90 percentile range. This is with all the people who come on my show like, we don't trust Vance. Well, guys, he's never fallen. Like, this was before the election. Ever since Trump was elected in January 2020, Vance has hit 90%, and he's never gone lower than 85% approval in the Republican Party. That's massive. Rubio's right there too. And then when you look electoral, like nationwide, Vance and Rubio have very high approval ratings for Republicans. So it's like these guys are going to be unstoppable in the general election against these morons they're running on the left. Are you kidding me? It's just, yeah. So we're in a good place. We're in a very good place. All right. Let's get into it. You guys ready for a grifter report after a day off? Oh man, grifter report time. This one's going to be fun. We have some good stuff coming up, and Violence and Poetry says, this is a reminder that Kamala has never won a national primary, even her own party rejects her. That is very true. That is very true. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm not going to do the JD Vance thing all over again today. We'll save it for another time. But although Ben Dickey says something interesting, he says, JD Vance cured my mom from TDS. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Monica says, how long is a generation? 20 years? Well, it depends. Some say 40 years, but some say 40. But all right, let's get into this, guys. Oh, the grifters are back. I'm so happy. Okay. So hold on. Love it. All right. On X, a rocket was fired at the Podcastistan, Faggosphere, Griftersphere the other day by Nikita Beer. If you don't know who Nikita Beer is, he is the main programmer for X. He's like Elon's right-hand guy when it comes to running Twitter. And he put out 2 days ago, political accounts have been the biggest offenders of undisclosed paid promotions. We've been investigating cases of foreign influencer campaigns recently. Often the influencer accepting payment assumes it's some American advocacy group. That's them being nice. Investigating cases of foreign influencer campaigns recently. Uh-oh. I've been telling you guys, the FARA violations, we're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. As Brian Cates writes, if they had done the due diligence before signing contracts and taking money, it would have been fairly easy for them to discover where the money was coming from and who was handing them talking points they've been reading to their audiences. But these people are so hot to get the money, they don't do research. I think most of them have a pretty fair suspicion where the money's coming from. When they get charged for violating the FARA Act, they're going to attempt to defense. They didn't know this was a foreign entity, even though it was an American group legally giving them the money. They thought it was. I'm not sanguine on the prospects of them being successful with that defense. P.S. F the Russian-based Dugin network, and the UK-based networks, and the Ukrainian-based networks, and the Qatari-based networks, and the Israel-based networks. F them all. They're all illegal. Shut it down. This includes all your favorites. Tucker, Megan, Candace, Nick, Alex. They're all a part of these networks, folks, which are all basically, you all funnel them back to City of London. Yep, that's right. It all comes back from there. But it says some very popular social media influencers are really, really going to wish they hadn't taken that money. Money leaves a trail. They deserve what's about to happen to them. Bongino agrees. Here's the latest from Dan Bongino responding to this news.
And all this stuff you see, Jews, climate change, Israel, Netanyahu, Epstein, it's not organic. You're being played for a sucker. Yep. And a lot of people you may have thought were your friends in the MAGA sphere, and I'm using the air quotes because they're not, they're paid goons and losers, are being paid to promote this similar bullshit.
Yep.
Nikita Beers, one of the honchos over at X, who guards against this type of stuff, put this out yesterday. Political accounts have been the biggest offenders of undisclosed paid promotions, i.e. they're getting money for shit and not telling you. This guy knows. We've been investigating cases of foreign influencer campaigns recently. Often, this is important. Often the influencer accepting payment assumes it's just some American advocacy group. What did I tell you on yesterday's show, Justin? Folks, listen to your boy here. I'm telling you, listen to your boy, Dan. I've seen this on both sides where people have come in and shady groups they contact Paula. She runs the business and they'll be like, hey, and Paula's like, we're good. We're okay. Thank you. We're good. Hard pass. And then all of a sudden later on, you'll see like, oh, wow, Paula, check it out. That group that reached out, look, they were in the news. They were up. No, we're never surprised. We're never surprised. The names they use, We Love America, the PAC or whatever. Folks, it's bullshit.
Yep.
That's why this show, did you notice when we came back, Justin, how many people were like, who tried to trash us when we were busting our ass to fix this, massive problem that was going on within the DOJ and FBI? Did you notice how many people who seemingly out of the blue, the nothing is happening people, did you notice how they were? They went crazy like the first month to try to crush this. And then we exploded back onto the scene. And now all of a sudden, most of them shut the... Why is that? Because a lot of this was a money op. And when the money dried up, all of a sudden they had no interest anymore. We crushed you. And I'll continue to crush you. Our audience kicks ass. Nobody was listening to your bullshit. Did you notice how all the bullshit responses you'd get to a tweet, anything with my name in it? Did you notice how that's down like 90% the minute they started crushing bots in these organized campaigns? Weird, right? Folks, it wasn't about me. It's about the Trump administration.
Yep.
Anyone who doesn't align with their unholy alliance agenda, anyone. You ever take a job in politics and you have a name out there, you'll see exactly what I mean.
He's 100% right. Every single thing he just said, he nailed it. See, Dan knows. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows. He was in the FBI for over a year as the deputy assistant to Kash Patel. This dude knows. He knows. And he's been loyal to Trump. That's why Trump gave him the job. He has never changed. Like, you don't have to like Bongino. I'll be honest. I don't watch Bongino's show. I don't. I see clips of him and I like occasionally the clips. But I don't doubt that. I think Bongino's legit. I do. People can argue with me. I honestly don't care. Because the thing I'm interested in is the people trying to end what Trump is doing. The people from the globalist side of things that are parroting narratives to support that. The people who are trying to subvert and hurt what Trump is doing at every possible opportunity. That's trying to split MAGA. So even if Bongino is paid by somebody, he's not doing that. So I don't care. Not right now, because right now he's on our side. And, if he's getting paid for that, kudos to him. Listen, if some MAGA person wants to pay me to keep doing what I'm doing and not change anything, fine, pay me. I'm putting it out there. I could use the money. I got 6 kids, man. I got stuff I need. But the point is this. The anti-Trump train, man, that's where we're looking at. We're looking at the TDSers. We're looking at all the people who bailed after Iran without explaining it or giving it any time to see what was actually going on. The people who pushed the Epstein class and completely ignore all the cleanup they're doing of sex trafficking nationwide. Those are the grifters I'm interested in. Those are the ones I want exposed. Anybody paid by a foreign actor right now. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see go down. People like, sorry, but Thomas Massie Yeah. I know he's not an influencer, but why else would he come out and continually attack everything Trump's doing, including the Save America Act, and now going after the stock trading ban? Massey, I thought you were a man of the people. Massey just tweeted, Congress isn't serious. We're voting on a stock trading ban for members of Congress, but Republicans added voter ID in the legislation, not to get Dems to vote for voter ID, but to get them to vote against the stock trading ban so they can use it in the November election. That's not true at all, Massey. The Republicans are trying to get the Save America Act through no matter what. And by the way, the stock trading ban passed, so I guess they didn't need the Democrats on for it. That is retarded. That is a stupid take, but this guy is horrible. He's horrible. And we've seen where his money comes from. The same people paying the squad, the same, the Muslim people paying Code Pink, all those funding, those people are funding Thomas Massey. Interesting. We're not getting much disclosure on that though. Are we? Well, then we got, people like, of course, Alex. Alex now is pushing out top pollster Mark Mitchell. Well, if Mark Mitchell's name sounds familiar, just remember that he was the head of Rasmussen Reports, Rasmussen Polling. He got fired. So he just recently started his own honest polling company. Of course, you see how they label these things? Honest polling company. They do that for a reason. It's to make you think like we're the America Firsters. We're the ones telling the truth. It's all marketing. Doesn't mean he's any different than any other pollster. But here's Alex putting him out there. MAGA spiraling future poisoned by the polls. Okay. Top pollster Mark Mitchell says he tried to course correct Trump on the war and other issues important, but was sidelined. Oh, Trump banned me for telling him the truth. Are you kidding me? This stuff is nuts. And Alex is pushing it though, man, as Trump goes on after Iraq or Iran today. Thursday, emergency broadcast. U.S. surges forces into Middle East as war in Gulf region. By the way, there is no surging of forces. This is, you know why he wrote this? To make us think there's boots on the ground. He wants us to turn on Trump. That's what they do. That's what they always do. Oil prices explode after Houthis sink 2 Saudi tankers in the Red Sea. Economists warn oil headed to $140 a barrel and will trigger a global depression. Oh, the frogs are gay. Oh my God. This moron. But this is a grift. These people are losers. They are liars. And guess what, guys? As the FARA violations are coming forward, it's going to be very bad for them. Even X might be the place that starts exposing them. Heck, Trump's used Elon before. He's had Elon do plenty of stuff for him. Elon gets out there, it's like, I can do this from the sidelines. Okay, do it, Elon. Elon is super MAGA. Elon is, I think Elon, in my opinion, has earned our trust. But setting X free is the number one thing, one of the most important things that's ever happened in our country. And that's not hyperbole. He broke free a place where we could share truth, where we could break all this down, get data out there in a time when we were under the most mass censorship in our history. Yeah, Elon is a hero. I'm sorry, but he is. But this is the kind of nonsense. So if X is going to expose it, then do it. But here, these are the same lies they've been saying since last summer. Oh, if you go into Iran, the oil goes up to $200 and we all die. This is so insane. But Alex is back to share the same talking points. Why? Because they got nothing else. They got nothing else. And a bunch of retards are going to watch this and be like, whoa, they're going to ignore the fact that Alex has been wrong about this 25 times already. And yet they're going to eat it all up again. But you see how Alex adds this? Economists warn oil headed to $140 a barrel. Which economists there, Alex? The ones that are always wrong? The one that, or you're talking about yourself here. It's so crazy that people still believe this stuff. Here is Mark Mitchell's new company. Just like Rich Barris started his own polling company because you know what? They want to They got to get to the people. We're real, guys. We're legit. We're not grifters. We're telling you the truth. We're telling President Trump the truth. We just want to see what really could happen here. The honest poll. People are biased. Poll shouldn't be. I'm sorry. These people are so stupid. They're so stupid. It's so obvious. But what's sad is so many people buy it. So many people fall for the nonsense. It just makes me sad. Mark Mitchell launches the honest poll. Independent polling without agendas or compromise. Sorry, dude. You got to get paid somehow now that you don't have a job at Rasmussen. So, and meanwhile, this makes sense, by the way. Well, all of a sudden last week, Mark Mitchell came back on X in a flurry and just started bombing all kinds of attacking Trump, blackpilling nonsense. This makes sense because he left. Rasmussen was actually holding him in check because he was an employee. Now he's out, started his own thing, and he needs attention. He's going full grift. I'm sure he went to Rich Barris and was like, dude, who's paying you? Can they hook me up? Barnes. Where's that? Who is that guy? Who is that guy that was helping you out? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll push the narrative. Don't worry. I need a paycheck, bro. Fast. So it continues. These people, man, it's just gross. I mean, and just like them, we have Emerald Robinson and Patrick Byrne. I mean, listen, I liked Patrick Byrne for a long time. Here's what Brian Cates has to say on Lindell. Back to Lindell, by the way. Note that Lindell waited until after Trump endorsed him in the Minnesota governor's race to suddenly start saying this stuff. Why did he wait until after Trump gave him the thumbs up to suddenly make it clear he wants illegals to stay and get driver's licenses? Good question, right? He did wait till after it. Well, Colonel Watkins says, now do you understand why he has Emerald Robinson, Patrick Byrne on his network all the time? All these people using his revenue ads for their podcast need to put up or shut up. If you're America First, all illegal aliens must be deported, and you're running Mike Lindell ads, you should rethink your priorities. Is it all part of the grift? Is Lindell in on it? These people certainly are. Again, I liked Patrick Byrne for a long time. He duped me. I'll admit it. He duped me. But he's been nonstop parroting stuff for years and none of it's happened. Everything he said about his version of the election fraud. Is there a reason Trump didn't take it seriously? Probably because it was bullshit. Sorry, not sorry. There's a reason Byrne, I was on a space call where Patrick Byrne told us when President Trump wins the election, he's commissioning me to SEC. I'm going to be in charge of the SEC commissioner. Trump came, didn't appoint him. What did Patrick Byrne say? Oh, I have back trouble. Couldn't do it right now. Okay. Emerald Robinson, we've already covered. This woman, total fraud, lies all the time, produces nonsense, blackpilling all the time. But they're both funded by Mike Lindell. Interesting. The deeper this goes, the more and more people are exposed. And the more they're exposed, the more disappointing it is. It's a big club, folks, and you ain't in it. There's very few actual independent people out there, and the vast majority of them are not. They're successful, but not on the level of these people, because the grift pays pretty well, and it's how you can get up there, at least fast. There is other ways to do it, but that's the fast way to do it. So while all this is going on, and hopefully this is really ramping up, seeing who's getting paid by the foreigners, we have another kind of justice coming, and that's this, where the Tates arrest. Currently, they're facing 42 charges, 19 related to child pornography. This is the people the podcasters were promoting to us. This is the masculine guys, the real red meat America Firsters. This is what Tucker Carlson, Candace. Apparently, they're friends with Candace's husband. It's not looking good for them, folks. When you have this many charges against you, odds are some of them are going to land. And we covered that the other day, the beating of the women. Sure doesn't look good for them, especially because, there was a whole grift going on that they were somehow connected to Trump, and Trump is the one that kind of set them up. They were friends with Don Jr., all that. Well, then we found out the DOJ actually gave the go-ahead for their arrest, and Carolyn Levitt was asked about it today.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No, we've already answered that question. Danny.
They're not going to bail him out. Trump isn't intervening at all. That kind of tells you that they might not have been who they said they are or were promoted to be. So listen, this is how we win, though, by the way, guys. All these people in this influencer sphere, keep proving them to be the frauds they are. Expose them, expose their crimes, expose their funding, all of it. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Let's see where it all comes from. And let it all fade away. Let this all collapse, just like the MSM collapsed, mainstream media collapsed 10 years ago and has never recovered. That's what we need to happen here in the podcast sphere, the Fagaverse of all these America Firsters. Let's just keep exposing them. Melania's sure doing her part. And this is the Epstein's not over, guys, but it's not turning out the way they expected it to. It's backfiring on all the influencers. It's backfiring on the liars, the people who put this stuff out there over and over again. Thomas Massie, where's those names you promised? Still not coming. But now Melania Trump has just filed for sanctions against author Michael Wolff, the guy working with Steve Bannon and Epstein, who lied about Trump's relationship to Epstein, over the Epstein-linked allegations he made. Oh boy, Michael Wolff. It's not looking good for you, friend. Or all the people who parroted your work. All the people who sided with your framing of things against President Trump, which, includes people like Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, the Epstein class people, a bunch of people on the left. Melania's certainly not done. And why do you think this is all quiet now? Why do you think nobody's talking about the Epstein stuff anymore? Oh, because now they're the ones in trouble. It's all flipping around. Now, these things take time. Exposure takes time, but it's starting to happen, guys. We're learning more and more who these people really are. Some of them are losing their jobs and starting ridiculous new things. But I'll continue to cover it all here because I am very interested in seeing all these people get their comeuppance. The thing I hate more than almost anything else in life, there's a few things I hate, but one of the things I hate the most in life is fraud. It's backstabbing, it's hypocrisy, it's lying about who you are. And that is these people, this Fagosphere America First crowd who gained prominence, caught on the coattails of MAGA, infiltrated us, and then tried to tear us apart. Were used by foreign actors, I believe at 100%, to try and destroy the movement. But you know what? We were too smart for them. And that's why we are stronger than ever while they're out there scattering, looking for their next paycheck. And that, my friends, is very good sign. When you see Alex Jones repeating the same nonsense he's been saying for a whole year and nowhere close to the truth, they're losing and they're running out of new things to say. All right, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching today's show. I appreciate you. Let's get into the chat and catch up with everybody here. So, let's see. Let's see if I was tagged by anything. Questions, comments, guys, throw them in there. You can tag me. I'll do my best to get to you. And I'm going to leave this up. Dave Ricard says, do you mean to tell me Susie Wiles did not sit back and eat the cake slowly like Emerald said she did? I would say that literally, I wouldn't trust a single thing Emerald Johnson has ever reported as inside access. That's where I would be. So. Anyone following Steve Bannon? Yeah, Bannon's tough. Diane says, people can pay for their appearances of Don Jr., a lot of various people. There's a difference between giving a speaker's fee for somebody to show up, because some of these people, their time is extremely valuable. There's a difference between that's outward and public and open versus getting money behind the scenes and parroting narratives. So if somebody was showing up all the time speaking and they were like, yeah, I'm just a true believer, and then you find out they're being funded, that's the problem. But if somebody's like, here's the outward fee, they got paid $50,000 to make this speech, I have no problem with that. It's shady. No, it's not shady. Sometimes it's shady. Like Hillary Clinton getting $500,000 for a speech. That's shady. But, people have speakers fees and stuff. That's how a lot of people make their livings. That's how, rich people who have their time's very valuable. That's how they, make it worth their time to do stuff. So, it's a wealth mentality. I have no problem with it if it's out in the open. It's just capitalism. And if people are willing to pay it, then, the worker is worth his wages, right? And that means you get paid what you're worth. Xobo, grateful for no BS, straightforward, logical takes. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Xobo. I appreciate that. Oh, you meant the Tate brothers. They might have been getting that. Yeah. I didn't follow them very much. I've never liked them. So, but yeah, I did see them with Don Jr. And here's the deal. I can't speak for Don Jr. I can't speak if he knew what was going on, if he's part of it, or if he's a problem, or if he just was like introduced by somebody like Tucker Carlson when they were friends, be like, hey, Don, you meet my buddy Andrew? This guy's all masked. He's great. You never know. And then maybe he got duped for a bit. You just don't know. I try to watch what people keep doing. Not, one mistake, couple mistakes here and there are fine. It's if you continue to do something that I think it's really a problem usually. Brent crude is price manipulation. It's not tied to anything. Where is oil right now? Brent's at 100, but the real oil is, right here, 92. So, it's elevated, but it's not, gas prices are going to be high until this is over, guys. That's all there is to it, but it's not spiking to 140. I'll tell you that right now. Whew, rough day in the markets. NASDAQ, yikes. Ouchies. Not good. All right. Well, guys, not seeing a lot coming in today, and that's okay. You guys, hope you enjoyed today's show. Real quick. Ralph says, Ace, have you noticed nothing's been said of Mitch McConnell since his AI proof of life photo? Even though he's still part of The Walking Dead, it's almost like they're waiting for the deadline. Yeah, I think Mitch is done, Ski. I think they are waiting for that deadline. I do. Yep, it's messed up. It really is. What do I think of Joel Oatman? I don't know who that is. Sorry. All right. Well, guys, it's been over 3 hours. I'm gonna call it a day for now. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 12 o'clock. I'll be on. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everybody, all the super chats today. Thank you for the support of the channel. Thank you, members, for supporting the channel. And I just appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Please hit the like and subscribe on your way out, and consider trying out the Patreon for free. Go in the chat, click that, and free that link to Patreon, get a free month and try it out. So let's pray and call it a day. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here. Thank you for all the patriots, Lord, fighting to get this country back on track. We pray, Lord, for President Trump, his protection, Lord, especially after seeing the Secret Service numbers today. God, please protect President Trump. You've been doing it so far, and we pray that continues. Pray for everybody fighting for our country. You protect them and give them wisdom, Lord, in Jesus' name. Pray for our country, Lord. You continue to steer us on the right track. Help us defeat the globalists, the communists, Lord, that ideology would never take place and take over this country, not on our watch. And Father, I pray that each one of us does what we need to do and is inspired to do what we need to do to make sure this country is better for generation after generation, our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids going forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I love you guys. I truly do. Have a blessed day. Thank you all for showing up, and I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of